All right. And we are live back again. And let's start the show.
Viewer discretion advised.
Bad vibrations?
Not suitable for work.
Son of a bitch.
Warning, if you are highly sensitive, overly emotional, or easily triggered, do us all a favor and quietly tune out. No need ruining the good time of others simply because you are a beta or a bitch. Age of Men podcast with your co-host in crime, Nick and Julius. Initiate launch sequence.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Age of Men podcast. We appreciate you guys all for being here. God bless you all. Back with another one. Back like we never left, right? So we appreciate you guys all for being here. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not subscribed already. You guys can also follow us on all other social media platforms. Links are down below. And as you guys can see, we're trying something new. So let us know what you guys think. We're trying out this, they call this an overlay on StreamYard. So you guys can see up in the, I guess it's my upper left hand, but your upper right hand on yours. You guys watch this on your phone, wherever. On your upper right hand, you can see the Instagram Age of Men podcast, and down below you can see, you can subscribe to our YouTube, our Instagram, where to follow us at individually, and also donations to the Cash App. So if you guys like that overlay, let me know. We're just trying something new. So yeah, let us know in the comments. Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you not? I mean, whichever you feel, let us know. We appreciate your feedback. So
they're gonna say we're getting pretentious.
What?
They're gonna say we're getting pretentious.
I mean, look, we're trying to just spice it up, give something a little new. Maybe folks who tune in for the first time, maybe don't pay attention to because we have the description down below, but maybe sometimes folks don't maybe look at the description. So when it's on the page, it's like right there, so you see, okay, so maybe this might get into look down to the description, see what else is there, so you can actually click on the link. So you see it on here, but then you go down and go, oh, okay, I can click on it right there. So yeah. So again, appreciate you all for being here. Interesting topic for tonight. There was this calendar that people were talking about. I saw this week, and it was a calendar to this guy's company is to push back against the wokeness, like push back against things like Bud Light, any company that decide to go woke, like again when Bud Light used Dylan Mulvaney as his sponsor, things like that. So this calendar was to put women on there, real women, women, I mean. And I understand it, but and we'll talk more in just a second about it, but I just thought it's a little distasteful for me. I don't see how it's at all conservative. So it made me think the fact that there were conservative women that did this calendar, it just made me wonder, are conservative women really liberal feminists? Because I get it, at one point we had illustrated, we've had the models who look a certain way, we had real women, and but I think now with being a conservative, I just don't see how this is conservative anything. So we'll definitely dive into who the CEO is. We'll watch his commercial that he had like months ago about pushing back against the wokeness. We'll look at the calendar, all that stuff. So like I get it, but at the same time, I'm just like, is it necessary? So the fact that again that conservative women did this calendar, it makes me wonder: are they really conservative, or are they just what's the phrase I've heard now? I've heard Chino, Chino, conservative in name only. Something else interesting. I think that's how you say it. Chino, Kino, something like that. But basically, women who are conservative but do liberal things, right? So that was pretty interesting. So yeah, we'll talk about that, and then we'll react to some videos that I saw that are pretty interesting to talk about as well. So yeah, again, appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for tuning in for tonight. As Brian always says, and he quotes from Jay-Z as well, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So yeah, so Nick, my man, how's it going?
It's all as well. We had to induce my sister-in-law over the weekend, so a little bit of nerves about that, but fully healthy nephew for my brother's first boy. So
Nice.
we're already talking about making him an alpha and getting him to watch Age of Men and all that good stuff.
All right, start him watching The Age of Men now,
Yeah.
so he gets when he gets older. Red pill him now. No, I'm just kidding. Red pill. Right? I said red pill. Oh Lord, don't attack me.
I want to start the no pill movement. Kids, we don't need to be taking pills anymore.
Ooh, I like that. No pill. Forget the red pill. Take no pill.
Yeah, just don't take
You don't
pills.
need big pharma.
Yeah.
um. Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, man. So I mean, just some things I saw online recently. Some interesting videos. Oh man, there's this thing on Instagram I saw where this guy, and this has been happening for I would argue at least I think a couple years now. But now I actually follow the page that does do this stuff. It's funny because they'll use Candace Owens' reaction, but then do their content below, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if this is how it's always been, but I think this page specifically will use Candace Owens' reaction from her podcast show and then put these videos down below it. So what it is it's videos where the guy goes up to a couple and he says, "How long you guys been together for? Whether it's been months or years, or even weeks." He'll say, or he'll ask, "Are you guys loyal to each other?" And they'll say, "Yeah." And then like, "You guys trust each other?" They say, "Yeah, we have trust." We can go, "Okay, let's test that theory." So they'll swap phones and then see what's in each other's phones, and then whoever has the not so good stuff gets outed essentially. So I don't know if their mission is to catch cheaters. I'm not sure what their mission is, but it's interesting to see because I've seen mostly women, but I did see a guy uh who was like super nervous. It was pretty funny as his girlfriend caught him, and so yeah, it's some good stuff. So we'll definitely react to that, man. And it's wild, man. I'm like, you gotta be careful out there, man. You gotta be safe out there because these days no one's safe. So
Would you go through your girl's phone to get your peace of mind? Because for me, I feel like if I had to do that or even felt the need to do that, I'd probably break it off with that girl.
yeah, I've been in situations like that, but I never did it first. I always suspected something because of how she was acting, and I end up doing it because I was like, something don't feel right, and I end up. Mind you, I don't do it all the time, but it's one of those things where, and the two times I did do it because something was going on, and I just felt it in my gut. I was like, something don't feel right. They're acting a little weird. They're not as lovey as they once were when I first met them, kind of thing. It's the affection's kind of dying off, or the attraction kind of dying off, I should say. And so, um, I don't know. I just didn't feel right. And so when I saw the opportunity, I looked into it and I was like, I was right. So
Yeah,
it sucks,
to
but it is what
validate
it is.
like your suspicions, like if she's holding something from you, I can, yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely do that. Dank
I
Bud
wouldn't
said
do that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
he said I went through a chick I was dating's phone, wound up ruining the relationship. I wonder how, Dank Buds. We could fill in the blanks, I'm sure, but yeah.
Yeah, we could probably talk about that for like a topic one day. Like when we host, hopefully we can host our. I really want to host our panel of like lots of people, because that'd be really cool to get like men and women and ask the question, should you go through your girlfriend or wife's phone? Kind of see what's up with that, or what are people's thoughts on that. So yeah, would I do that again? I wouldn't, because my thing is now that if I can read body language and I get a gut feeling, what I'll do is I'll just step away to where I won't hang out with her as much, and just step away. And I'll just, if she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'll just say, I get this feeling that there's someone else in the picture. Is there? And based on how she answers, because I've heard all the type of answers that women can say that they're lying. So she's like, no, there's nobody. Like if it's like a straight defense mechanism, well, not defense mechanism, but a straight defense, like, no, it's not nobody. Why are you acting like that? Why you remind me of my ex? Or it's like something like along those lines. I'm like, all right, there's clearly somebody else. I don't want to be involved in this relationship. So at that point, I'll just be like, well, listen, you're acting very defensive. So I would just have to just say, I don't think it's going to work out. I think we should split apart. I wish you well. I'm sorry it's got to be like this, but I'm just not gonna stick around when you got somebody else who's sticking around.
No, Julius, please, you're my everything.
And I'm like, yeah, but you're not my everything. So
Please.
that's just how it's gotta be. Um,
Oh,
do you
Dank Buzz followed up, bro. He said, "Nah, she wasn't doing anything, but I still accused her of shit. It went south after that. I misread the situation."
you know it's interesting too. I had a question for you, Nick, but it's interesting too because when you do that, and I could be wrong, think Buzz, but when you do that, it's because that comes from a previous relationship. If you were in a previous relationship where something like that happened, like, so for example, let's say you was dating a girl for like 6 months, a year, whatever the case may be, but you guys hung out all the time, and because you did, you gave her so much validation that it kind of made her unattractive, to where you started to try to to keep her love, and like to do things to keep her love, and you saw how toxic it was getting. And so what happens is, like, any kind of thing that happens in your relationship previously that just went off, that went wrong, you tend to bring that to the next person because you don't want to get hurt. So it's like a defense mechanism to like already be ahead of it, rather than find out later on and get hurt. I could be wrong though.
No, that's really interesting, Julius, and that's kind of like the dilemma I think that everybody has is how do we not carry baggage from our past relationship that we end up dumping on somebody who doesn't deserve it, who didn't do anything to us, our new relationship, because
Yeah,
that's how you do them.
yeah, yeah. I think to that, man, that's where we as men have to learn to overcome. Because if we're gonna constantly keep on doing that, then how are we any different than like an emotional woman? You know what I mean? We have to be strong. We have to be able to leave. We can't allow past relationship. And I understand, especially if you're with her for like more than a year and you really have that attachment, that bond, that build. I get that. But that's why you gotta give yourself time. Don't Once you break up with somebody, don't just jump to the next thing, because I sometimes think that men have it in their head that women can just get anybody because they're females. So we try to, like, again, it's like, again, a defense mechanism. Try to hop on the next relationship so that we don't, so that she don't get a boyfriend first. We try to get a girlfriend first. So it's like this competition, like this invisible competition that we try to do with women, because like we know she can get some other guy. It's like, oh well, I gotta get some of the girls, so I gotta hop on that before anything, and then we end up bringing all that baggage to the next relationship, and then it's like, oh, I misread the situation, and it's like, no, you just brought the baggage with you from the last relationship to this one because you want to be ahead of the game, but the way to be ahead is just the way to be ahead is just be stoic, be yourself. If she is doing something, like, you can read her, but do it in a way where you see like more body language, how she speaks to you when you guys talk, and she on her phone. you know what I mean? I should make eye contact. Like those things are important. So if you go on a date with a chick and she's not making eye contact, like looking down, texting, and talking to you like this, then not that important. So from there you can go, okay, I see what it is. Once this date is ended, I'm moving on. There's no need to call her, try to do it again. Maybe this time I'll impress her. You don't gotta do all that. You can just move on. Like move on, live your life. Don't try to like move on and hop into the next chick's life. Just live your life. Like really give yourself time. You don't have to jump straight to relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't. It's not healthy for you to do that because
Okay,
you're gonna always bring that baggage every single time.
what if you bust her and she fesses up to it and she's like, you know what, you're right. I have been entertaining another guy during this time, and it kind of hasn't fully. It dawned on me, but it hasn't fully like hit me until right now. You confronting me that, like, I'll give him up for you.
I would appreciate her honesty. I appreciate the honesty. Man, call me messed up. I appreciate the honesty, but the fact that it came to that, if she has to tell me I'll give him up for you, I get the feeling that she's not going to give him up for me. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know why that sounds. I don't know what you want to call it, but that doesn't sound right to me. I appreciate her saying, "Hey, you're right. There was this other guy. I'm sorry. I'll push him off." It's like, are you really gonna push him off, or are you just telling me that? Maybe that's I don't know. Maybe that's like that sounds bad to say. Like, are you gonna do it, or are you just not? Do I not believe you? I just think that if she's telling you, hey, I'll get this guy up, for you. I don't want to be in that position where it finally comes to I'll give him up. If you're talking to somebody, you should already give up the guy. Period. Like if you're looking to get with somebody, whether you're man, woman to man, whatever the case may be. If you're a woman, same thing, man, same thing. If you're talking to somebody with the potential of getting with them, then why even have, especially if you guys made it official. Like talking, maybe I get that, but if you made it official, you guys are like boyfriend and girlfriend to the point when you're going to get married, why even still have that person lingering as a just in case? It's like break the glass in case of an emergency. Like why still have that? Why not just do away with that period? You know?
Yeah, Ruel said, "Nah, son, bye, Felicia." Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if it took you having to catch her. Like, it could maybe be different if she just like volunteered the information or something, saying I was still kind of talking to a guy because we weren't serious yet. Um, but yeah,
So I mean, I was bring up Morel's comment and then bring up Ding Buzz. Baggage isn't good, but you still gotta learn from those, learn from these thought tricks in relationships. Yeah, I mean, again, you bring a good question up. It's good for her to be honest. And she was like, "Hey, you're right. There is some other guy I've been entertaining. I'm sorry about that. I appreciate that, but I'm like, again, I thought this would be a good relationship, but I don't think it's going to be worth it because the fact that it came to this, it shouldn't have to come to this. It shouldn't have to come to, you're right. I was entertaining some other guy. That means this whole time up until that point, you were entertaining him. Now I had to say something to you just to make you admit that. Like that shouldn't even be a thing. It
and
should
what's that
focus on
mean?
us.
Entertaining? Like, no, not happening.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like the same thing for women too. If women talk to a guy and they make it official down the line, and there's still that girl that he's talking to, and behind the scenes, she shouldn't stay with that guy either. She should be like, hey, I don't want to be the other chick, if she's into that, then whatever. But I don't think that tends to work. I mean, look, if you look at those kind of relationships, look at what happened. Matter of fact, we can even talk about this on tonight. We can talk about the live streamer Destiny, popular live streamer. Uh, he was in a polyamorous relationship or polygamy, whatever you want to call it. He was in that relationship with this girl, Melina, that he met in Sweden, and they were in an open relationship. I guess an open marriage, but it's not even a marriage in my opinion. But they were in that kind of relationship, and now it was leaked that him and his wife might get divorced because of the fact that there is this other guy that pretty much threatened her and said, if you don't leave destiny. I'm going to unalive myself. And so
Fair
I
enough.
think she ended up choosing. I will argue that being in an open marriage is kind of beta itself, in my opinion, because you're allowing your girl to get banged out by other dudes. I don't know. I don't get those relationships. I'll be honest. I don't get it. If it's not to bring children into the world, I don't understand the point of it. It's like, what, you just want to bang out different women or bang, let dudes bang you out. I don't get the purpose of that, in my opinion. Some dudes can do it. Cool, whatever, knock yourself out. I just don't see the purpose of it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just weird like
Some
that.
dudes will also have a threesome with him and his buddy and a girl and the Eiffel Tower and are like
See,
high fiving
that's
each other, looking each other in the eyes the whole time. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, that's gay. I don't care what anybody says. If you have
Yes,
a threesome with if it's two dudes and one girl, you're gay, or at the
definitely.
very least bisexual.
It's gross as fuck.
You know what though? Even if it's two girls and one guy, I don't like that either, because then the girls start doing weird. I don't like that either. I don't. That just seems weird. I remember I was watching the show Supergirl, and they turned one of the characters gay, and it was just weird to see her kiss another girl. Like, it was such a. I was like, it's just weird, because even if you have two lesbians, one of them still acts manly. What is the point of having two women if one acts masculine? Like, if I don't understand that. Like, one of them have to be masculine. I don't
Yeah,
know. I just don't get stuff like that. I don't get it.
I was once
So
asked because I said the same thing. Two guys doing a girl at the same time is gay as fuck, and they're like, okay, well, what about you and two girls? Is that gay? I was like, not me. They're gay.
yeah, exactly. You're not gay, but they are.
they're
See
being
what I
gay.
mean? So it's like, either way, there's gay somewhere. So, yeah, I'm not down with that. Yeah. So um, but
On the other woman, Joe said, just hook up with her friend and move on. Best move.
yeah, but see, but even that's not good. Cause you hook up with her friend. Now her and her friend got issues, and I don't know. It's just weird. It's like, now they start talking about you. Oh, he did this. He did. It's like, it just gets weird. Just leave that completely. Have nothing that ties, her to anything, or ties you to anything with her. Just leave it and move on. Don't even worry about trying to, like, oh, I'm gonna give her friend, because then it's like, you give her friend might get with your friend. So it just backfires, man. Best thing you can do is just leave everything and just live your life, dude. There's no point in trying to start drama.
Yeah, I
So
don't like to play games. I don't like to walk myself into likely traps, likely
yeah,
pitfalls. You know.
yeah. Okay, so let's dive into tonight's topic of, are conservative women liberal feminists? Now, I want to hear your answer on that real quick. Just based on that question, I want to hear your answer. Just off top, what do you think about that?
I would say that in my experience, yes, a lot of them are. Um, I wouldn't necessarily call them liberal because they're different in like a lot of their values. They think they want a conservative man and whatnot when it's convenient to them. But often I've learned when the rubber hits the road, they're no different than the modern liberal in the sense that they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to be
Mm,
equal this and that and wear the pants when it's convenient for them, and then the traditional
mm,
stuff when that's convenient.
yeah. So would you say that makes him a Chino?
Yeah,
Yeah, conservative in name only. Like, they're only conservative when they want to, no, when they need to be, but they're liberal when they want to be. Is that fair to say like that?
yeah. I would say whenever it benefits them, they wear whichever role.
Yeah. Um
China. They come from China.
Chino. They're Chino. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say that it's interesting because I was watching the whatever podcast, and Andrew Wilson was on there. And when there's this chick he was debating. She came off like she was this tradcon, traditional conservative. She had lots of makeup on. I think we might have watched the video. I'm not sure. I think we did. But I'll play it again just in case. Um, but the way she answered certain questions, oh, I'm pro life, I'm this, I'm that. So it made her look base. But when Andrew challenged her on feminism, she was like, "Oh, first wave I like, but it just got worse after that." And Andrew's argument was that, well, first wave led to where we're at right now. So the
Mm.
reason why we have this radical feminism is because the first wave started that. Because in the first wave, there weren't many women that wanted women's right to vote. They didn't want that. You had the anti-suffrage. So when Andrew debated her on that, it pretty much like outed her. Like it kind of showed her true colors because she claimed to be this certain way, but was doing things very liberal. I might have shown you it before. I think we played the video where uh she worked at Starbucks, or not Starbucks. She worked at some coffee place where she was in a bikini but wearing like an apron. So she was still like selling her body just like a stripper. And you actually had the sex workers, the strippers, the prostitutes essentially. I don't know if that's allowed to say on YouTube or whatever. But you had the sex workers pretty much call her out and was like, "How are you any different when you're in a bikini serving coffee? Like you're making tips. You're selling your body for money." So it
I'm
was the
more of a
same thing.
conservative hoe.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm conserving my 304. It's like, yeah, it was just very interesting. I was like, yeah, that is true because how was she any different? It's like, I'm not the same. And it's like, well, you kind of are. If you're wearing a bikini and you got this certain body on you and you're walking around flashing your boobs to men and making money from that, yeah, how are you any different? The difference is you're just not dancing.
The only difference is that you're not owning it, which is actually kind of more reprehensible, if you ask me. At least the hoes on the left are like, "Ah, we're out here, we're hoes."
I know. Yeah, exactly. So I thought that pretty interesting. That what was I bringing that up for? I think. Oh yeah. So I'm bringing it up because I was saying that you have these quote unquote conservative women who really do a lot of liberal things, which is very interesting to me. Uh, um, so I can make it equal. There are men who are like that as well, so I can make it equal. So nobody freaks out. You're just talking about women.
They won't hear it anyways, Julius. Even if they won't hear this
I
part.
know. I know. They always overlook it.
They conveniently overhear. They don't listen. They overlook this kind of stuff. Just like the conservative modern woman conveniently overlooks when she's acting like a liberal.
Yeah, I know. Crazy time we live in. All right, let me. I'm going to Instagram right now. I gotta find it. Gonna go to this guy. Oh wait, I think I have. I gotta look him up. All right, so this guy was again pushing back against wokeness. His name is Seth Weathers. I'm gonna pull up his Instagram page. I'm gonna pull up his website and we'll check out his calendar and his commercial things like that. Give like a little background. So give me 1 sec to pull this up.
This is the guy you were mentioning that has he started a movement against woke culture.
Yeah, so now he has a calendar of conservative women
Gone wild.
taking. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, real quick too. Also, all you guys who are watching out there, do hit that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed and share this out because it definitely does help when you share it out. If you guys want to share this out in your Instagram stories or on your Facebook or on your Twitter, it definitely does help out. Brings in a lot more viewership. So we appreciate you guys for liking this and for engaging in the chat. And also too, I want to say this here. If you guys have any questions you want to ask us, feel free to ask any questions you guys have in the chat. We'll answer it and talk about it. So if you guys have any topics you want to bring up, definitely bring it up into the chat and we'll read the questions and discuss it. So we appreciate you guys' engagement.
Yeah, we chat back. You guys make the show.
Yep. So here's M. I don't know what the M stands for, but M Seth Weathers on Instagram. This is his advertisement. He has a website called ultrarightbeer.com and it's the pushback against Bud Light. But here's his advertisement for the Conservative Dads Real Women of America 2024 calendar. And here's that video here.
Rocking around Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple
Isn't that
tries
crazy?
to.
What a classy
So
hoe.
that's so yeah. So that's his advertising. So we're gonna jump to his website here, and one sec while it's loading. Usually when I speak when it's loading, it makes it choppy.
We sexualize women on the conservative side, so you don't have to go see liberals.
Yeah. So as you guys can see here, this is the calendar. Whoop. Hold up. Oh, you gotta enter an age. See, it's like you gotta enter an age, whether
We're
you're 21
classy
and
over
over.
here. You need to be at least 18 to see our conservative naked women.
I know. I mean, at least they have that, but it's like even still,
But if I'm
you
16, I'm
know.
just going to put 18. What stops that?
I know. So this is their calendar. Conservative dads, real women of America, 2024 calendar featuring the most
2%
beautiful.
edition.
uh, featuring the most beautiful conservative women in America. Now, this model right here is model Riley Gaines. I believe she was in, I think it was sports she played, but she dealt with having a man who identified as a woman or pretended to be a woman and competed with her, and she didn't want that, and she got a lot of pushback because of it to the opposition, calling her transphobic, homophobic, all the buzzwords. But now she's posed with this ultra right um, beer. This guy's company, ultra right, and I just don't see how this is conservative. Where, and it's not just her. You have there's other pictures as well. I think if I click on it,
She's the swimmer, I think, by the way, Dankblood said.
okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That's what I thought she was. I want to show. So here is a sneak peek, and I think I can maybe enlarge it. Okay, I can't enlarge it like that. Okay. Uh, let's do that. Hopefully, you guys can see it. And can you guys see it? Yeah, you guys see it very well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is conservative, Jewish conservative, Ashley Sinclair. Uh,
Uh-oh.
I was, before I saw this picture, and all the names are over here as well. If you guys can see, onto the right here, all the names are here. So I'll read up all the names who posed for this. But Ashley Sinclair, I always thought she was pretty cool. I follow her since 2019. I always thought she had some good takes on Twitter, and she also made a book, like Matt Walsh did. Matt Walsh had this book called something Walrus or something like that, where basically the kid thought he was a walrus, but he really wasn't, and it was to combat the left and try to make it seem like kids can identify as something else. So when his kid identified as an animal, his mom corrected him essentially. So she also made a similar book like that as well, that pushed back against the trans movement, things like that. So I always thought she had pretty good takes, but then I started noticing, forget what it was that I saw, it made me go, this seems like a very liberal take. And all of a sudden this comes out and I'm like, wow, that's and I feel weird even just looking at this picture. But the fact that she's taking a picture like this, and she's married too, by the way.
Oh, oh no.
She's married and she's a mother.
Oh no.
So it's like, again, I'm not hating on her per se, but I just think that for a conservative, this is very distasteful where you're a mother and you're married and yet you're taking pictures like this. I would not be okay with my wife taking pictures like this. Very seductive.
Fuck.
Why would her husband should not be okay with this?
They'd,
And then the fact that her child is going to see this. Now, if she was single, I could totally understand. She's single. It still would be distasteful as a conservative. But the fact that, you're a mother, this is not a good look, in my opinion.
even single, I wouldn't recommend it to any ladies period, because you don't know how it's going to come back and bite you in the ass in the future. But especially if you're ever planning on having a husband and kids, because young people can be brutal. Like if we found out that some kid that we went to school with, his mom was in these pictures and whatnot, you can bet your ass kids would be saying stuff like, "Oh man, I just whacked off your mom before school today, bro."
Yeah, I know, like little jokes like that and
They
teasing and
would brutally
bullying.
torture you. Yeah, they'd tease you to death.
Yeah, it's crazy, and then the fact that it says conservative dads. It's like they're giving this out to. I mean, they're not forcing it, but like if imagine if married men bought this. I I think I saw a woman commented where she was like, "I will buy this for my husband." It's like, why?
See, that's what
I
they're trying
don't-
to do. They're trying to make conservatism like cool, and that's actually a movement that I've been trying to make, or at least acknowledge for a while now. That like conservatives do need to become cooler, because the liberals are lunatics, but they're cool, and kids will side with cool over morals any day. But this is not the way to do that, if you ask me. It's kind of defeating of the whole idea of conservatism when you got a
yeah.
bunch of hoes acting like they're fucking traditional.
Yeah, and it's like again, I get the whole real women. You want to push back against like the Dylan Mulvaney's of the world, the man who pretends to be a woman. I get that, but even stuff like this, it's like this is very seductive, and then you have a calendar of it. Like I don't think this is conservative anything. This looks more liberal than it does conservative, and it's like you can't you can't get on the liberal feminists who say things like men shouldn't objectify women, and then you go and put yourself as an object for men's desire. I just don't see how that's helping anything.
They're doing it to
I don't,
compete with liberals, and I think it's a good thought, a good principle to start adopting. Like, we have to start playing the game a little bit, but this is not the way to do that, if you ask me.
yeah. And then this guy has he has his two kids, and it's just so weird. Like this chick right here is Kim Klasick. So uh, it doesn't show everything, just the sneak peek. But all the names on here is Riley Gaines, the swimmer, Dana Dana Loesch Loesch. She was I think she's a NRA member or the of the organization. I believe very pro Second Amendment. Kim Klasick, which is her right here. Ashley Sinclair, which is the first chick I showed you, which is her right here. Sarah Gonzalez, who she works for Blaze. I don't know what her pictures look like. I have no idea, but if they're seductive in any way, she's also married and has children. Josie, the redheaded libertarian, she's been on Tim Pool. Uh, Catalina Love. I think I've seen this name before. Hold on, this is the same chick I'm thinking of. Hold
Vanessa
on,
said one of these women was just running in Baltimore. Amazing.
yeah, I'm trying to see if this is the same chick. If this is the same chick that went against Nick Fuentes, I'd be really like, yeah, of course you would do this. Yeah, so Catalina Loaf, is that how you say her last name? She was actually on Valuetainment's podcast, and Nick Fuentes was there, and they had this back and forth. And it's funny because like she seemed like she was very liberal herself. She didn't seem like she was a Republican. And the way Nick pushed back on her is actually interesting because she got triggered to where she told Nick she wants to just rip her face off, rip his face off. I mean,
Ah,
it was pretty funny, dude. We also got Brittany Jean. I have no idea who this is. Bethany Bartlett and Peyton Drew. I don't know who Brittany and Bethany and Peyton is, but I know Catalina was on Valuetainment. Josie, I follow her on Twitter. She's been on Tim Pool. Riley, swimmer. Dana, pro Second Amendment. Kim Klasick ran, I believe she ran for, what did she run for? Congress or something like that, but
yeah,
I
in
think she
Baltimore.
lost.
Yeah, Vanessa said
Yeah,
the
yeah,
play. She's the one that had
yeah.
beat Candace Owens. Candace called her out. Yeah, okay, I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So interesting stuff, man. Again, I think that this is all. Again, I see conservative women as liberal feminists because I can only see like feminists doing this kind of stuff. I don't see women like actual women that want to like to take a picture like that. I just don't see a point in doing that. Like, what is that conserving at all? Oh, what's up, Vanessa? I didn't know she was in here. I didn't even see that. I'm not paying attention to the chat at all. Sorry about that. But she said, "I'm not a liberal. How dare you guys?"
Mhm.
Let's test that theory. How do you feel about the first wave of feminism?
Yeah, Vanessa, join us.
Yeah, you want to hop on? Hop on. We'll definitely open up the chat on the second hour. But I'm curious to know what you think about first wave feminism. Was it a here's my question to Vanessa. Was first wave feminism good or was it bad?
Hmm.
Conserving bath. You're talking about Ashley Sinclair picture in the tub, the conserving bathwater.
Nice.
She said, first wave, like when it started, I want to go back in time and tell that person to shut the F up.
Based.
Okay. Pretty base. Yeah. So the more I learned, I mean, I was never like in favor of like the first wave, but I know that there was a video of a ex cosmetologist. Am I saying it right? Cosmetologist, the magazine, you know,
Yeah.
ex Cosmo writer, who talked about how the first wave was about equality, being in the workforce, and then it moved on to the sexual liberation, which I believe was the second wave, and the sexual liberation was really to kind of push more towards the abortion route. Convince women that they should have sex freely, and then if they get pregnant, they can go down to Planned Parenthood or get an abortion.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
was like this
we
big
can all
lie.
agree at this point it was a disaster.
Yeah.
First wave and all.
She said, if these conservative women want to preach, then lead by example. This calendar is not a good look. Yeah, it's really not. I don't think it is. I think it's disgusting. In my opinion, I just don't see what is what is conserving. That's why I think that again. I think if you talk to some of these conservatives, no, they will be in agreement to. And I gotta really finish Rachel Wilson's book, man. I keep trying to like do all these other side projects. I keep forgetting to just take a day to just read that book. Like, don't watch YouTube that day. Don't do Canva stuff. Just read that book. I've been dying to get that book done. I'm always trying to do these little side projects so we can make this better and things like that. I keep on forgetting. So it's funny too because now I'm working on a project where they're now starting to talk about monkeypox again. I saw somebody post about it. Supposedly, 1 in 10 Americans have died from monkeypox.
Get
Which,
the
when I
F out.
heard monkeypox, I heard that was a thing because of the LGBT. You know, so oh my god, Vanessa, you funny. It's a little inside joke, but I heard that monkeypox was because of it was the LGBT. Like if they would have, you
Gay
know,
butt sex.
yeah, to put it lightly, then they can get monkeypox or something like that, right? It was something kind of close to that. So now they're saying that 1 in 10 Americans have died due to monkeypox, and so I did a song back in 2022 that mentioned that. So if they're bringing it back up, I'm gonna now shoot the video to that song. I'm gonna self-record everything myself and just make the whole video myself. I already got all my ideas, how I want to angle it. I'm gonna do all that. So this next week or this week coming up, I'm gonna make my video and then probably put it out before the end of this year or put it out next year. Or I'll probably put it out this year. Like have like a banger video for this year, and then hopefully I would transition to next year. So
Dank, what do you think of this? Dank said, oh yeah, you pulled it up. Women
yeah,
thought feminism would give them liberation, but it eliminated the respect we have for them as wives and mothers.
base. I agree with that 100%. Here's why I agree with that. I think it's true. They did want liberation because again, you had the anti-suffrage. I mean, there was this video I was trying to find. I think it's from the 60s, like late 60s. and I believe it was in the UK. And there's this video. I couldn't find it for the life of me. I posted on my page. But it was so like long ago that I had to like scroll through a lot to find it. But there's this video of women essentially saying that they don't want the right to vote. Like they're fine with how things were. They were happy staying at home, the husband working. But then once women, got told um to push the idea of women voting, it screwed everything up. It put women in the workforce. It took mom and dad out of the home. We got dad working, mom working, like you always say. Who's raising the child? Not the parents. It's the government. And so then you can get this indoctrination from the early 70s of these children learning all these liberal ideas, Marxist ideas, communist ideas, and then now
Anti-American,
it's a what?
anti-American in general.
Exactly. So those kids of the 70s into the 90s, and then who had kids and then raised those kids, and then now we got uh basically lots of women who are now choosing careers over motherhood. I read something from the Census Bureau, really great stuff too. It gave all these stats, and it came from a website called I think it was called like something mommy. I think what the site was called, but something to do with mothers essentially. But it gave all these stats, and at one point it showed that the Gen Zs of today value being in a career more than they do being a mother, which is very interesting to me. So it's like both millennial and Gen Z rather work than to be a mother. So it's like I think that's why is the birth rate declining.
Oh yeah,
From what I
so
understand,
badly.
yeah,
If we don't turn it around, we're gonna have like nobody left in America or the Western world.
yeah. I mean,
What's funny too, Julius, they're the most unhappy that women have ever been. Women of a certain age group that are in the corporate world are far and away, actually, from what I've read and heard from Jordan Peterson and other people I trust, the most unhappy demographic of people in the modern world.
yeah,
It's a false illusion that they're sold, thinking that they're going to be able to have a family and all this stuff after they climb the corporate ladder. It doesn't work.
yeah. That's why I want to bring up real quick. I'm gonna bring up that video with Nick Fuentes and that girl. What else her name was? Kalina, whatever her name was. Or I forgot
Saudi
what I said.
McGee.
Let me see what I said. I typed it in. Catalina. Yeah, Catalina. So I'm gonna bring up that because she was talking about that women can do it all in the conversation on valuetainment. Women can do it all, and Nick Fuentes is pretty much like, no, I mean, women can't do it all. It can't have it all. You either be a full-time mom or you're working. So I can see how they're unhappy too because they're constantly going to work for someone that doesn't care anything about them.
And
Their
then they're going
boss
to die alone. They're going to die alone with all that success, all that corporate success, all that money or whatever. It dawns on them at some point, like, well, I'm going to die alone because I didn't invest in my prime years into getting a family and whatnot. Now that's passed me by.
Yeah.
Vanessa said something very, very poignant. Woman of the year is a man. Man of the year is a woman. While China is teaching men how to be men, and America is teaching us to be gay.
Yeah, I've always said, yeah, so that's a great point. Yeah, matter of fact, even when they put women like Taylor Swift as Woman of the Year, and Taylor Swift is like full on feminist, so they don't put mothers as like Women of the Year. They don't put conservative or Christian mothers as Women of the Year. They put these degenerate people that practice satanic rituals on stage, like the Taylor Swifts of the world, the Kim Kardashians of the world. I mean, they put people like Bruce Jenner on these magazines and things like that. It's just very interesting to me that um yeah, I've always said that it went from USA to US gay. You know what I mean? Like that's what we are now. So it's crazy because the small percent of the LGBT is making the loudest noise, and now we have to make everything inclusive. I mean, I was on Indeed.com, just like looking for jobs, like little side jobs, And in the month of June, they literally like they support the LGBT. Like they literally had a section of jobs that were inclusive. Like it was like a big thing. They said it was like this email I got. And it was like, because of Pride Month, we're gonna show you all the jobs that are inclusive to the LGBT. And I was like, why the f does that matter? Like, why does it matter your sexuality? Just have good ethics, have good work ethics. It's not about what your sex is, what you identify as. But a lot of these jobs today are doing that, and a lot of these jobs are now having male, female, non-binary. I'm like, what the?
You know what?
It's
If somebody came to
so
me
crazy.
for employment and they put non-binary, automatic non-hire.
Yeah, I know, because it's like, because then also too that could be like a liability where it's like if something goes wrong, they could just easily say, "Oh, it's because I'm non-binary. They treat me like this. I'm such a victim," and they
That's a
end up getting.
problem. That's a problem waiting down fold in some way, shape, or form. If you can't even be assured enough to show up here and you need that much attention that you're going to call yourself not the sex you were born as, not interested, not hiring.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let me pull up this real quick. Um,
Pushing the gay agenda, you know what I mean? Vanessa said, "Yeah, pushing it at the back door, pushing at the back door
no,
hard."
no, I caught that. I caught that. Pushing the, I get it. Pushing the gauge. That sounds gross.
Yeah,
Pushing it.
I would
Okay,
say
so
no homo, except she's clearly implying homo.
yeah. Okay, let me get past this advertisement real quick. Nick Fuentes on Valuetainment, basically talking about how women can't have it all. And mind you, this is a woman who ran for who's running for Republican. I don't know if it's not Congress, but it's like I think she's running for senator, something like that. But either way, she's running in politics. And again, we often say women shouldn't be in politics. People are probably wondering, like, oh, why not? Why are you saying that? Well, I mean, they
Look
they
where we're at since they got the right to vote.
yeah, they tend to be ran by emotions, and not to say men aren't, but if you watch this video right now with Nick Fuentes and Catalina, you'll clearly see how triggered she gets. And that's kind of proof right there. I'm not saying men are not incompetent, but if we had better men who were competent, this nation would be a whole lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah, no beta
That's
males
my
either.
opinion. Yeah, like nobody like Joe Biden. Okay, so let me pull this up. Let me see. And I think this is a great clip too. We'll watch the whole thing and see what you guys think too. Let me do this.
Nick says that a woman like you
What?
should have just.
Hold on. Let's start over real quick. All right. I think this is good, right? We can see just fine. I don't gotta do full screen or anything.
No, yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. There we go.
Nick says that a woman like you should have just, after high school, focused on being a mother. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. You're 30.
Yeah.
You're accomplished. You went to
Thank you.
college. You're gorgeous.
Thank
You're
you.
smart. You're intelligent. You'll make a great wife someday. Nick believes it should have been sooner rather than later, but you're on your own time frame. Why is Nick wrong that you're actually a happy, healthy, beautiful person and you're living your life that you want to live?
Yeah. Well, first talk about just briefly, my grandmother never made it past third grade. She came from Guatemala, and
Soft story.
her, the fact that she could never learn and even read or write to a substantial amount was really personal to her, because with education that provided freedom. Some education is something that can never be taken away from you.
This is your mother or your
Whether
grandmother?
My grandmother.
Okay.
And
what about your mother?
For her, her, it was so important that her children were educated, because she knew that education equaled freedom. It meant that something could never take that away from you, man or woman. And so when my mom and my grandmother came from Guatemala to the United States, my mother worked 3 jobs to come here, learned English at night, to be educated, to be a woman of worth. And that really mattered. She ended up being a teacher and really being able to be somebody. And, I find that really offensive that you don't believe that women should have the education or the freedom, because there are a lot of women who would do anything to be able to read a book. And you laugh, but it's sad.
Women can't read. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that there are some women in some countries that can't read. And when
Nobody's
you
saying they
undermine,
shouldn't have literacy.
He's
It's
talking
a
about
question, should they have secondary education? Should they pursue a degree? And when you say education is freedom, I went to school for 2 semesters before I dropped out. I went to school with a girl who borrowed her entire tuition for 4 years, getting an IR degree, $200,000 in debt for an IR degree, for a liberal arts degree. Is that freedom? Am I buying a lot of freedom?
The freedom
But Nick,
of
isn't
choice.
that anecdotal? Because I know a ton of dudes in student loan debt as well. They're doing nothing with their life.
It's an example. It's
Yeah.
an example.
No, I
And
know, but
the point
one
is,
good example.
but you agree,
But
though.
there's millions of guys and girls
Yeah,
with
but
useless
don't
degrees.
they have the freedom to make the mistake? I mean, I think that is part of the American
Totally.
way. They have
No,
the
I
freedom
don't-
to make the mistake.
Yeah, and nobody's saying nobody has the freedom to go to college or something like that. But the point is, on the statement specifically that education equals freedom, I don't necessarily buy that getting a college degree is the ticket that it used to be. So
No,
everyone needs to go to
definitely true.
college to get freedom.
I
I
agree
don't know
with
if that's
that,
right.
but then why are you saying that women in particular shouldn't go to college
why.
and they should be? Look,
Here's
no.
why.
Let me explain. I think also
Okay.
too that women can have it all, and I think this
No.
construct
Here we
of
go.
you have to choose this career, you have to choose to be
Yeah,
going to college, you over having a family. I'd love to have a family one day. I'd love to be married someday, and I think you can
Gonna
have
happen.
it all. And I don't think that you
She
have
doesn't
to
have it all,
choose
she's saying, like,
between this lifestyle
Yeah, I
of
know. I
either
know.
or.
I
Nick,
think
why do you
that-
say that women can't have it all? And then I'm gonna come to you, Amy, and then I'm gonna come to you, Nima. I promise.
Can't have it all because the clock's ticking. And you're 30, and I don't mean it to get personal, but of course, women, there's an age after which they can't have kids. There's an age after which it's much more difficult for them to have kids. That's just biology.
I've been out
And
of
so,
college
hang
for
on,
10
I
years.
let you finish. I know you want to rip my face off, but I let you finish. And
Wait
so
a
the
minute.
point is that when women go to college full time or they have a full time job, they can't be a mother because a
Wait,
mother is a full
you wanna
time
pause it,
job.
Nick?
So that means that if they are having kids, guess who's not around for 8 hours during the day? Where do they put the baby for 8 hours during the day? Do they just stuff them in a box somewhere? Got to send them to daycare. Somebody has to take care of the kids. Just because you're the one that's not doing it doesn't mean it's not a full-time job. So no, you cannot have it all without making sacrifices. And the problem is working women will have a kid. They'll prioritize their career. This is what happens in many cases. And who is the one who is forced to pay the price? Who for this sacrifice in time? It's the kid. It's the kid that doesn't have the mother for those 8 hours a day when their mom's at work. It's the kid who mom can't go to the game. Mom can't pick you up when you're sick from school. Mom can't do X, Y, and Z. So actually, we have a short life. We have to make decisions in time. Nobody can have everything of everything. Nobody can have it all. We have to make decisions, which means sacrifice. And the problem that is going on, if women want to work their whole life and never have kids, I don't think that's good for them. I don't think that's fulfilling. But worse still is you have women that are promiscuous, which is a mortal sin. They'll wind up having kids, often become a single mom. And even if they're not, the kids wind up in daycare. And the point is it's just a very selfish lifestyle. People should put their family first.
Amy, let
That's the
me
most
ask you. Let
important
me
job.
ask Amy because
Okay.
Amy's been quiet, and Nima, I'll come to you, and then everyone.
So yeah, so let me pause it right there. And I think he's correct on that. It's interesting too. Let me bring up this stat real quick. Hold on a sec. Hold on. There was the great stat about this. Somebody said, he looks young. He's about, I think he's 23, if not 24. He's 24 years old.
He's
Yeah,
very
young
wise for
dude.
his age. When I first found out how young he was, I could tell by his looks, but I was still like pleasantly surprised because he's very wise. But more importantly than that, he's got some stones for being so young.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I think I saw. Was it this one? No, it wasn't this one.
While you're pulling that up, Dank Bud said, I didn't finish my degree. Applied back to Boise a few years ago to finish. On the phone orientation, they asked me my pronouns. I hung up. Ruel, his name's Nick Fuentes. He's a young man that's very much so critical of Zionism and maybe even Israel, of women, of liberal black movements and stuff. He's just very, very controversial. He was banned for a while, I think. He might still be banned on YouTube, right? Or
Yeah, he's still banned on YouTube. Matter of fact, Elon Musk just gave Alex Jones his account back, but yet for some strange reason, Nick Fuentes still hasn't gotten back his. And what's funny is that when Alex Jones talks about globalists, right, he don't talk about certain people. He'll just say globalist. So it makes him very PC, which I get it. I understand. But at the same time, Nick would just call out who it is, and that doesn't put him on. For some reason, his account won't come back. I mean, he's on Twitter. I think he has like 3 different accounts. 2 of them he follows me on, and then one of them that it's his account, but it's not his official account. His official account had heck of followers, and that's still banned or suspended. So I don't know if Elon's gonna bring him back. I hope he does, because if Alex Jones could come back, I think Nick should too as well, and others that were suspended.
Oh, I agree.
So,
Honestly, this is the first I'm hearing about the Alex Jones thing. That's one of the big criticisms I've had of Elon for a minute, because he's doing some undeniably awesome things. But when you say you're for free speech and you won't bring back an Alex Jones, that was a problem for me. So the fact he's doing that, that's pretty big. Hopefully he's just doing it one at a time, so that like the whole shit storm of the left isn't fall on him or something, and he does bring back.
yeah,
Nick.
I mean, Elon's cool, but something that I think he did that I thought was a little bit weird. I don't want to get too much into it, but when the Israel-Palestine conflict's going on, still going on. Funny because the media is saying that they're in their 3rd month. Actually, this has been decades. it's been like a very long time. This stuff happened between them. It's not just the 3rd month. This has been happening for a long time, but I digress. But anyways, when that happened, Elon Musk, when Israel shut down the internet in Gaza, Elon Musk wanted to give Starlink to Gaza to give them access to the internet to communicate with their families here in the States. And so what happened was Elon Musk went to Israel to go talk to Netanyahu, and they pretty much told Elon not to give him internet unless it's approved by Netanyahu. Elon Musk agreed to it. So I was like,
that's not cool.
Yeah, it's not a good move.
He definitely does some like very questionable, shady things, arguably like that. But I try to give credit where credit's due. He's done some good things too that shows me he's not like fully one of them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But I would give credit where credit is due. But I'm not going to say he's not one of them, because he bowed down to Israel.
I hear you.
So
that's not cool.
Somebody, I'm like, yeah, I just can't. So this is what I want to show you real quick about Nick's the other Nick.
Don't bring your hate mail this way, not this time.
So this is a website called wealthysinglemommy.com/single mom statistics. It's a very long website. So I mean,
I bet it's like really, really overworded too.
I would argue. I think this is more of a liberal. The more I read, I was like, the way they frame certain things, I'm like, I don't know if they're just saying it to be saying it, to virtue signal, but it does seem very liberal. But I think the stats were pretty interesting. So they have these single mom statistics right here, where it says there were 15.6 million single mother headed households in the United States in 2019. This is 3 times the number in 1960. In addition, 25% of U.S. families are headed by a single parent, and 80% of single parent headed households are moms, or 21% of U.S. children live primarily with a single mother, according to census data. Studies estimate that by the time children turn 9, 20% of U.S. children born to a married couple and more than 50% of those born to a cohabiting couple will experience the breakup of their folks. 40% of babies born in the United States were born to unmarried mom in 2018, according to the census data. So it's interesting.
That's pretty shitty.
I know. Well, it gets better. They have millennial mom statistics. So this is Per John Hopkins University researchers' paper, Changing Fertility Regimes and the Tradition to Adulthood, evidence from the recent cohort, 57% of millennial parents had at least one child out of wedlock. 64% of millennial moms reported at least one birth out of wedlock. More educated millennials are having babies outside of marriage. Of millennial moms who have babies outside of marriage, 67% have some college education and
Ah,
32% have 4 or more years of higher education. Uh,
amazing.
I know, dude, these stats are insane. It says while 2.1 million single mothers in college in 2012 um, is double that of 2000, according to an Institute of Women's Policy report. The graduation rate of women who enter college as a mom is just 28% for single moms, compared with 40% of married moms and 57% of female students who were not parents. There's a stark division between single millennial moms who have college degrees and those who do not. 71% of millennial moms with a 4-year college degree were married and typically were in their 20s when they first gave birth. 74% of millennial moms without a bachelor's degree were unmarried and typically had children younger. Throughout history, marriage and parenthood have been linked milestones on the journey to adulthood. But for the young adults of the millennial generation, these social institutions are becoming delinked and differently valued. Today's 18 to 29-year-olds value parenthood far more than marriage, meaning that they'd rather be single parents than to be actual wives. It's crazy because that sentence alone, that today's 18 and 29-year-olds value parenthood more than marriage, sounds like to me like they're okay with having a child out of wedlock because they'd rather do that than to serve their husbands. I don't know. Maybe
Right.
I'm being wild and thinking that. I could be wrong on that. If I am, I'll take the L. But it comes off that way. It's like they'll have babies, but they won't make things work because they don't want to be quote unquote trapped in being a wife to a man and serve the husband. You know, it's like easy to be a single mom and sleep around with other dudes to play daddy, but yeah, you don't want to serve your actual husband because that's like punishment to women these days. Having to obey the man is so bad, but yet you go to your job and obey your boss. You obey the traffic lights. You know what I mean? Like, you obey the law, you obey your boss, but you won't obey your husband.
Glam Rock says it. You're killing it, girl. Single mother homes create the worst children in society. Single father homes give the same results as two-parent homes. That's a fact.
Mhm. Agree. Totally agree. Vanessa says body count shouldn't matter. Men sleep around. That's why these women are out here single and miserable. Now I get that she was being facetious with the spelling of it, the way she spelled the body count. And I think what she means by that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Vanessa, but I get what you mean because women will always say, well, men sleep around too. So it's like they're being, a bastard of her father. And I would agree that men shouldn't do it either. But as you all know, women tend not tend to, but they have access to sex. Women have access to sex. Therefore, they choose who gets to go inside and they choose who gets to live and die. See how that rhymed?
Nice, bro.
So,
It is more detrimental the more bodies that a woman has too, generally, because you're pair bonding. Oxytocin gets released at that time, and in nature, the biological urge of the female is to find one male that they can mate with for a couple reasons. One, because if they're having sex with any more than one at the time, the paternity can't be assured, and she and her cubs will be left to die by that man, that male. He's not
yeah,
going to raise bastard children in nature. And two, she wants to endear herself to this one male forever so that he protects and provides and takes care of her so that she can stay alive. So
yeah.
women are traditionally monogamous for that reason, because of nature. You can fight your nature all you want to try to be progressive like men and whatnot, and you're going to find yourselves getting as depressed as you are right now.
Yep. Over 80% of prisoners in the U.S. come from single mother homes. Please look this up. Oh, we did. Matter of
Yeah,
fact,
we went through that. Dude, that's an alarming stat.
Yeah, we talked about this several episodes ago. We mentioned that 60% of men who raped women came from single mother homes. That was like alarming
That's
within itself.
insane. You would think it's the opposite.
Yeah, yeah, I know, pretty crazy, right? So real quick, I want to get to and two last things, and we'll move on. Oh, and also too, I opened the chat, so if anybody wants to join, the link is in the chat. If anybody wants to hop on and talk about what we're talking about, you have any questions at all, we can definitely talk about it for the last hour. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and make sure you guys are subscribed, and do share this out. It definitely does help out with the viewership. It helps out with the engagement. We appreciate Glam Rock for joining us. Appreciate you. God bless you guys. Thank you very much. Also, too, again, make sure you guys are following us to all the social media platforms. If you guys want to donate, the links are all right there on the screen. And also, to give us your opinion on what you guys think about our new overlay that we have right here. You guys can see in the top right, or at least my left-hand corner, your right-hand corner, I believe. We have our Instagram right here, Age of Men Podcast. And down below, we have our individual Instagram links. Today with Julius, C3 Nick, and our Cash App links as well to both mine and Nick. We got to combine one for the Age of Men, but we'll work out the I was
And
gonna say
I need to update that. Don't send it to that one. If you get, we love the donations. It helps out a lot. If you're gonna send one right now, send it to Julius and we'll split it, or hit me up for an updated one. We'll have it updated by next week. I changed it to C3 Culture, I think.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, appreciate that. Okay, so I want to read these last two stats. Are very interesting. So these are Gen Z. We talked about the first two were single mom and then millennial single moms. Now we're going to talk about Gen Z single mother statistics and then older single mom statistics. Interesting, right? So
only on the Age of Men, folks.
Right. So the Gen Z single mother statistics, Generation Z, children born in the mid to late 90s to early 2010s, are mostly descendants of Gen X. According to an article by the Annie E. Casey Foundation, Gen Z women were more likely to be unmarried when having a baby. Numbers increased from 33% to 40% between 2000 and 2018. They're also more likely to graduate from high school and pursue higher education. This is where I was telling you about women choosing careers than being mothers, right? So according to Pew Research Center, Gen Z are poised to be the best educated generation to date. As of 2018, 57% were enrolled in 2 or 4 year colleges, compared with 52% of millennials in 2003 and 43% of Gen Xers in 1987. In 2019, 44% of Gen Z ages 7 to 17 were growing up with a parent who graduated with a bachelor's degree or pursued higher education. A 2022 Forbes article asserts that Gen Z women are delaying motherhood in favor of work and a desire to have a flexible life with protected time just for themselves. See what I was talking about earlier? This is because the Gen Zers were more likely to have been raised by single parents, according to the Survey Center of American Life, which is something that I said earlier. That you got these single parents and then they're having kids, and then they, like what I said earlier about the government raising the kids. Now they're having kids, and then you got this single parenthood happening, and now they're in college. They believe that they can do it all that kind of stuff, and now we get led to these younger women, again 18 and 29, who are now choosing careers over being a mother because they've been told that having a husband is prison, but yet serving a boss is freedom, which is pretty crazy.
And the irony of all that is because they're that comfortable to be able to say such things and do such things in a society that men have built up for them to be safe and protected and provided for by government and everybody else, other men, in ways that they don't need a man now, they feel.
Yeah, I would argue it was simps who gave women the right to vote. Hot take.
Oh, no, absolutely. In fact, I would argue that Adam was the first beta male simp when he fell for Eve's seduction, So,
No,
that's more or less the right to vote in a nutshell, but just the first one.
Yep. I know. So what does that say about you and I? No. we had our mistakes, I'm sure, right?
Oh
Betas.
yeah, we learned. I'm certainly not trying to. I've been a beta male simp many a times, and I've learned from it the hard way, and that's why I try to, be candid up here now to hopefully spare some men from having to do.
Yeah. Same here. Um, older mother, older single mom statistics. This is the last one. There's a lot more, but I'm just gonna give you guys just this last one. You can read the rest on wealthysinglemommy.com/single dash mom slash dash statistics. So this is older single mom statistics. Today, there are far more older mothers overall, including more older single moms. By comparison, there has been a 70% drop in teen birth from 62% of girls aged 15 to 19 in 1991 to 19% in 2017. The most recent data provided by the Department of Health and Human Services, 48% increase in births to unmarried women ages 35 to 39 in 2007 to 2012. 29% increase in births to unmarried moms ages 40 to 44. 55% of never married women ages 40 to 44 have at least one child, up from 31% 2 decades ago, according to Pew's analysis of the census data. While the rate of babies born to single mothers has declined slightly, there is a notable rise in babies born to single moms by choice, women who tend to be older, more educated, with a higher income. So
Amazing.
you can't make this stuff up, folks. You
You
can't
guys think
make
we're
this stuff.
talking out our butts up here?
I know, isn't that crazy? So, um, it's Vanessa says Roe v. Wade was voted on all by men. Yeah, facts. I mean, you did have women play a part in that, but the men eventually gave women right to vote, which is why women want to turn this society into a matriarchy, but they can't. Without men, they can't run a society.
It
And
wouldn't
that's not me
exist.
trying to.
They're so privileged and dumb to be even like suggesting such a thing. Like you're capable of saying that because of the society that men have built for you. Like you
Yeah,
can't do it without men. It's never been done ever one time documented.
yeah, and it's like, again, if men were gone, and I thought about asking this question too, because I think Andrew Wilson brought this up on the podcast. I believe he's on the Weber podcast right now. I'm like, oh, I want to watch you after this is over.
Don't keep watching the Age of Men, folks.
Yeah, I know. Watch the Age of Men first, and then go over to Weber podcast.
We're
And go
almost done.
Yeah. He followed me on Instagram too. Him and his wife both followed me on Instagram.
Wow,
It's
Rachel,
pretty
who
cool.
wrote the book Occult Feminism that I love.
Yeah, because on Andrew's stream, uh somebody said something about a screenshot, and he said, take this screenshot of me to use, right? And so he was talking about Sydney Watson, the conservative, but she's really super feminist. She's like more progressive than anything. It's crazy. And so she had this he was going over a video that she did, because she was going back and forth with somebody on Twitter. I believe it Pearl or Rachel, one of those two. And so Andrew was talking about her, and so she had this like really like crazy eye look. And Andrew said, "Screenshot this." So I screenshotted it, and he said, "Screenshot me like this." And he had his mug. He's like doing this. So I screenshotted that, and I sent it to Rachel and said, "Hey, these are the screenshots that Andrew was talking about." So it was pretty cool. So she followed
Fantastic,
me
bro.
after that. So it
Dude,
was
Julius
cool.
got some friends in high places. I'd tell you that much on the internet.
I wish. I'm not on Andrew's level at all. I'm in his Discord now, so that's pretty cool. He accepted me into
We're
his
gonna get them on
Discord.
the Age of Men one of these days for an unprecedented interview.
I know that, man. That'd be dope. Hopefully Andrew, because Andrew does push back. Like he'll push back. If I say anything stupid, you know what I
Love
mean?
it. And we want to have Rachel on too because she's full of knowledge. That book is something else. I can't wait
Yeah,
for the next one that's
I
coming
know.
out.
I know. I gotta finish that book for sure. I got know what, tomorrow I'm gonna just make the whole Monday just read the book, and then I'll work on my other stuff after that. But I gotta read that book.
You got to finish it before I forget it so we can discuss it on here.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But yeah, so I think those stats are interesting to me, because again, it shows that millennial and both Gen Z, as I said earlier, they're choosing careers more than motherhood. So the birth rate is declining because they're not having children. They want to be, single, live it up, travel, and then you get to a point where you end up like Chelsea Handler, where you're in your 50s and you got cats and you think it's okay to drink, in the morning and afternoon, go sleep around. I mean, look, she can do what she want. Hey, do you, Chelsea? God bless you. But I don't think that's a fulfilling life to have, where you're just alone, drinking, having sex with whoever guy thinks you're attractive, whoever you'll give it up to at that point. I don't think, in my opinion, that's a healthy life. Now, Chelsea may hate me for saying this. I'm not Chelsea. I'm not just getting on you per se, but I just think that's not healthy. It's like me sleeping. It's like me. I mean, I'm 37 years old. Imagine me being 57 and then still sleeping around with lots of women like it's a thing to do. I don't think I should be doing that. I should be more balanced, rather than just out there loosely. Just, I'm 57, but I can still party like I'm 20, and life at that time is going to be a whole lot different. You know what I mean? So it's not fulfilling for me to do that.
I
So
think Chelsea Handler, we can all say, is objectively gross.
yeah, I agree. Um, Vanessa says, without men's society, the world cannot survive. Women would not be able to sustain the infrastructure of what makes this all work. Yeah, agreed. I agree 100% because a lot of men do the job that women don't want to do. I mean, even in Sweden, when they gave egalitarianism, where they allow both men and women equality to whatever do what they want, the women still chose to work with people while men still chose to work with things because women don't want to do that. Now, is that not to say that there are women that will do that? Sure, but it's few and far between. So without men, women would not be able to do that. From what I understand now, what I just learned is that their body, like their physiology, is not able to withstand certain temperatures. Therefore, they cannot last as long uh, in certain weathers like men can do. That's
Bro,
why men.
being a fireman, I was just going to
Yeah.
make that example. Like, they had to change the tests to let it be more inclusive to women because they couldn't pass the physical tests that men
Yep.
pass. So not only, first of all, ladies, I'll be the controversial one that tells you can't do the same shit that men can do, and neither
Yep.
can we do what you can do. But more importantly, if you're being honest with yourselves, you know you don't want to have to do that. And here's the cool thing: if you would just be like a little appreciative of the fact that the men are doing it and stepping up, we would continue to do it. But if you're going to keep behaving the way you are, I don't see why men would continue to support that.
Yeah.
I'm making a push to stop it, just so you ladies know. I'm not stopping with your right to vote. I'm coming for all your rights. We made a mistake. We did a little experiment. We tried to empower you guys. We listened to your tears and we thought this would be a good idea. It's gone to hell. So we got to rein you back in. I'm coming for all your rights, ladies.
Yeah. The feminist movement got so bad. The feminist movement got so bad that it made women act like men to the point where they started, surgically removing their body parts in order to look like the very same patriarchy that they claim have privilege. So it's like you think the patriarchy has all this privilege, and now you want to become that because they convince you that you can be whatever you want, identify as you can, and it's like they lied to you. Look, YouTube may not like this, but it's just true. They lied to women that you can be so free to the point where you can surgically do things to your body to look like the very same thing they told you to be against.
Wow, dude, great. Glam Rock, our girl out there says, did you know in Japan women are given menstrual leave, but almost none of the women take it out of fear of disappointing their boss?
Wow.
Japan's one of the
Yeah.
places where they're having a major population crisis right now, collapse.
Yeah, from what I understand, from what I understand, what I saw in this video, and again, I gotta look more into this, but from what I understand, what I saw is that in Japan, you got men essentially relying on like sex robots and things like that, sex dolls,
Pornography,
because
yeah. They're going to
yeah, because
supplementing it because they're tired of dealing with the women or whatever.
well,
They're
because
selling
they
shit.
work so much that they have no interaction with women. So therefore, their only interaction is to like have something that's artificial, which is like a sex bot and things like that. So and that's for both men and women. They just work all the time. They have no time to really like come together and actually create an actual family,
Siri,
So
please
it's
set my alarm for 8 in the morning and wake me up with a morning robot BJ, will you? Yes, sir.
yeah, I know.
Robot BJ scheduled for 8 a.m.
I know that's what's so crazy, man. I don't know. This whole world is just getting out of hand. It really is, man. We gotta get it back. I mean, I can't speak for everywhere, but we gotta get it back to where it's just God, Christ, man, woman, child. Especially in America, we honestly we've allowed way too much to happen in America. We've allowed the fact that we even started to have gay marriage that led to a ton of things. Like it led to again the T's, right? Led to the T's becoming radical. Now you got men and women chopping off their body parts, and that to me, I would call that a depopulation agenda.
Mm,
Because if you the more you can separate male and females and get them to be the opposite gender, the less they come together to act. And now even when they are having babies, they're doing it, and it's a small percent, but they're doing it in a way where now the women who identify as men who cut off their breasts, they're now saying, well, now men can get pregnant. And it's like now you have the man who looks like a woman who looks like a man, but she's pregnant. It's it's so crazy, man. It's weird. And it gets to a point where like pro-abortion is like, see, if people like that shouldn't have kids, like, or you know what I mean? It's like they would accept abortion because like kids like that shouldn't be raised. I'm like, nah, dude, all life is deserved, but I'm just saying we shouldn't be living like that where they're so confused where now it's like the woman who looks like a man is pregnant and saying, well, now men can get pregnant. And it's like, no, it's a woman who just looks like a man. That's all it is.
yeah, it definitely opened a lot of doors, not just the back.
Yeah. No. So it really does. Yeah. I like that. I like how you put that. Um Vanessa says, but these feminists are dumb AF. They support trans rights, which in reality are men. I know. So you fight for women's rights, but then lose rights to men,
So
then have to
stupid.
fight for them again. That sounds like a headache. Like just reading that, give me some Tylenol after reading that. Good Lord, so not your comment, but the whole like just that whole thing of they're fighting for this only to give it to that and then fight for it again. Like, jeez, Louise, that would just make my head hurt. Um, Glam Rock says very smart people, but don't have much room to think freely. Yeah, it's people don't think freely anymore. It's all a tribe. Everything's tribal, and when you think outside the tribe, that's when the tribe goes against you, which is very sad.
They don't
Um,
want free thinkers. Rockefeller talks about it in one of his cronies when they set out to establish public education. They want a nation of workers, competent enough to be working, but not thinking, not philosophers, not the smart. They have enough of those already, quote, as they say.
yeah, Glam Rock is right. There will be uterus transplants in 10 years approximately. Yeah, I agree with that. I could definitely see it happen. I mean, they're already doing. As a matter of fact, they're already doing like artificial babies. Like it's crazy because what they're doing, it reminds me a lot of Man of Steel. Right? People watch that movie, think it's a superhero movie, but at one point in Man of Steel on Krypton, this was never really told before like this that I know of. But in the movie, you had babies who were artificially made, which is why Superman and Man of Steel, which I think they lost the point on this, but he was the first human being that was born of natural birth, whereas every single person on Krypton was made artificially. So every job they were given, they had to stick to that. So if I was, in this little test tube, you want to call it, if I was in that and I was bred to be like a general or a doctor, that's what I'm bred to be. I can't get away from that. So that's what it seems like to me what can happen in the years ahead, where it's no longer natural birth, it's all artificial, and they'll all be assigned not only a gender, but they'll be assigned the work that they have, and they'll be bred for that thing, and they can't do like they can't think outside of what's being bred to them. Like if you're a scientist, you're a scientist. You don't think doing other things, but doing scientific stuff. It's like you're basically serving the elites agenda. You can't go
Yeah,
outside of that, otherwise they'll off you.
yeah. You don't get any free choice in that matter. They put that in the movies to get us used to it, the idea of these kind of things, because that's their goal. But more so than
Yeah.
that, to actually bring it about ourselves subconsciously.
There's a great movie on Netflix. It's called Leave the World Behind. I won't spoil it, but you should definitely watch it. It's pretty interesting. It's very interesting stuff.
Yeah, they're doing that because there's a transitional space before they get robots good enough that they can just replace us entirely.
Yeah, I actually saw a video. I don't know how real this is, but I saw a video where somebody was at a gas station. I don't know what state this was in, but they were at a gas station and there was a robot that was putting in gas into the car.
Would you like a blowjob with your fill up?
Would you want a blowjob with your gas, sir?
No blowjob today, fag
Yeah.
bot. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, sir. Maybe next time.
Sorry, was the last one not good enough?
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah, it's bizarre, man. Like the fact that there's a robot putting gas, like just get out your car and put gas in. You're that lazy? Like they're trying to make us lazy. It's just so crazy, man.
Stay away
I
from
don't
me,
like
robot. You back up. You back up.
Yeah.
That's what I say when I go to a place they're trying to pump my gas. No.
Yeah, I know. It's good. I could see it getting to a point where they become the enforcement, like the robot become
Oh
the
yeah,
enforcement.
dude, like
Where
Terminator. That's the goal. And they will have
Yeah.
no emotional strings to pull. There will be no empathy, and they're going to execute things to a T without any compassion for humans. Yeah, bro. Bro, just
Get-
my idea here.
Degenerates.
Hey, if we're gonna have gay robots, we might as well benefit from them, right, Ruel?
Oh god.
I'm just kidding. I don't want no gay blowjob from a
Yeah.
robot or otherwise.
Robert says mass formation, psychosis, that's what's happening even to the people who don't realize it. Yeah, agree. Totally agree. Matter of fact, if you watch that movie, Leave the World Behind, if I gotta watch it again, but if you really pay attention, you can see what they're putting into your face. You can easily get lost in the sauce because you're trying to follow the story, but if you start to like really pay attention, you be like, whoa, like again, they always do that. They put things in movies and TV shows right in your face, and we just think it's part of the movie, but in reality, they're really telling us what's going on. But we're so I guess you can say diluted, if that's the word to use, with all this like stuff on TV that we don't think that what they're saying is real. It's just acting, right? It's all it is, just acting. Which is interesting because that movie, I heard the Obamas had a hand in part of the script.
I believe that. Yeah, they play it off like it's just science fiction that was lucky. It was just able to see the future as if they're not doing it to bring it about.
Yep, exactly. It's just predictive programming, Julius. The reason you recall it so easily because you're already ready for it, and your mind, it's already happened. Yeah, I've seen this stuff a lot, especially I would argue things like Black Mirror that really showcase a lot what's going to happen in the future. How we're so into our phones. I mean, they had one episode where these people were in this kind of world where they was all in this little square cubicle, and the only way to survive was to beat the next person in the talent show. You have to do something so extreme or so crazy to stay like living. And then if you win the competition, then you get to stay in your little cubicle, you exercise. But it was such a prison like way to live. And so at one point, this guy realized it, and he realized that he had to do the most extreme. So he like took a knife and was gonna like unalive himself, and that was the most extreme thing. And he ended up winning the competition because it was so extreme. The
But he's
next
dead.
one, you said what?
But he's dead, right?
No. He didn't do it, but he was like so passionate for it that he won the competition because it won up the next person. Like that's what I mean. It's like these type of world where you gotta do something so extreme just to live. Like that's your way of surviving is to beat the next person by doing the most extreme thing in order to just have food in your mouth, and a roof over your head kind of thing. It's just bizarre. But yeah, I would say Black Mirror as well was definitely that futuristic. I mean, look at the robot dogs we have now in California and now in New York. That was in Black Mirror. I mean, technically, they did have a robot type dog back in the 90s, like very big type robot dog. They had that, but Black Mirror made it a lot more convenient. Yeah, more useful. Yeah, more useful. So now we have it in New York and California. So imagine what that looks like for the future.
Or those dogs? Well, they have a Jaguar one. This is made by somebody, Boston Dynamics, I think it was. This was years ago. and they showed a demonstration of it running over 60 miles an hour, able to jump things, and if it would like hit its leg or something, it would catch its balance and keep going. It's that
Wow.
kind of shit's here.
Yeah. Imagine that chasing you. You can't get away from that. Busting through
Please,
windows. You
please,
can't
dog.
hide from it.
Please run a
Yeah.
ball, dog. Whatever you want.
Yeah. And imagine too if that dog is programmed with thermal vision, like you try to hide and just know when you're that's scary stuff, dude. It really is. Vanessa said I watched it as well. You watched Leave the World Behind or Black Mirror?
I think
Maybe
she's
it's
talking
Leave the
about
World
Black Mirror.
Behind. I'm thinking Leave the World Behind. You say Black Mirror, I say Leave the World Behind.
Let's bet on
Let's
it.
see. Let's see. Vanessa, tell us which one. Are you talking about Black Mirror or Leave the World Behind?
Nice, Vanessa. Great answer. Both.
Don't be PC. Be honest. It's okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, real quick too. Never mind. I was gonna say something, but I don't want to throw it in Vanessa's face because she mentioned the whole Godzilla thing, but I don't want to throw it in her face. I was gonna just say, well, never mind. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I don't want to throw it in her face. um, but what was I gonna say? So I lost track for a second. What were we talking about?
Godzilla, Vanessa's secret.
No, no. I was gonna say something about the movie, but it's all good. What I wanted to bring up, I wanted to jump back what we were talking about before, with the stats and things like that we read about, women choosing careers over motherhood. There's a video I wanted to pull up from Twitter, and it's interesting because there's a video of a guy and a woman. I don't know if this is a reality show or I don't know what this is specifically, but there's a guy pretty much talking about the roles of men and women. And I saw the comments were like, "Oh, this guy is whiny, blah blah blah." I was like, "I don't think he's whiny." Um, oh, it's right here. I was like, "I don't think he's whiny, but I think he brings up a good point." And her response, I was like, I don't know, but we're gonna watch this video and then we'll see what you guys think about this. Let me.
Hey, while you're pulling that up, you were telling me, and am I misunderstanding that? You said that there's a reality TV show where a woman chooses which black dude to bang. Her and her husband choose.
Um,
Because somebody was asking me about that. I was like, yeah, it sounds like they're having reality TV about that now.
Yeah, somebody said. Sorry, real quick. Somebody said, "Don't be shy." No. It's because okay. I'll just say this. Godzilla -1, in my opinion, I think it's the best movie of this whole entire year.
Hmm.
It really is. It's so good, dude. It's not. It was made by a director in Japan, and you have to read the stuff. So it was a Japanese movie. They pretty much remade Godzilla like the old school one. Like it was a modernized Godzilla, and I like it because Godzilla wasn't good, he wasn't bad. He was just a result of the war that happened in the 40s with nuclear explosion, things like that. And it was just a result of that. And I like that story a lot more than like Godzilla having a personality. Do you know what I mean? Like almost like he's a person, whereas this Godzilla is a result of something that people did. And now they have to deal with that. And dude, it was just a roller coaster of emotion. Not like I was an emotional person, but like everything that happened, it was so relatable. There wasn't, the woman trying to upstage the man. Like he didn't get saved by a woman. I mean, I don't want to get too much away, but it was nothing woke. Like you just understood people. It was nothing at all. There was no women trying to be a strong female, no nothing like that. You just really understood the human element. It was so good. It had me on the edge of my seat every second, dude. Like I think honestly, it's the best movie of 2023. I thought we was dealing with all this woke stuff. That you might have had a couple of films here and there that was okay, but this one, I can literally watch this over and over and over and over it's that good in my opinion. I think it's the best movie of 2023. But real quick to answer your question, Nick, Adam 22, um, he was the one that allowed his wife to get banged by a black dude, and she announced it all over her social media, and it
I
went
love how you
viral.
say black dude every time, by the way.
I don't know. I think his name is Jason or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it's true. It was a black dude. He got banged out by a black dude. It's just true. I don't know what else to call it, but Julius let me down. I did not let you down at all. Vanessa, I did not let you down. Did not let you down at all. Um, I'm just saying it was a good movie. I mean, I'm not giving nothing away, but I think it was a great movie. I think it's one of the best movies. But anyways, but to answer Nick's question, the reality show was okay. Context: Adam 22 is a podcaster who has a podcast called No Jumper. That's his company, and he posts news. He has podcasts with guests. Um, he married this chick named Lena. She goes by Lena the Plug, and we talked about her like episodes ago on the podcast. We talked about the fact that she allowed this black dude to bang her out, right? And so he allowed that to happen. And mind you, that's not a marriage. They're not married, in my opinion. But he allowed her to get banged out. Later on, moving forward, they come up with this reality show where they're going to allow men to basically pick what sleep with his wife. What's funny is that most of those men were black dudes. I found that very very interesting. Why black dudes specifically? So it's just bizarre. The funny thing about it is when I saw in the comments, the dude that they picked to sleep with her is a porn star.
Oh, wow.
So it's almost like this whole thing was rigged from the very beginning. It's just purely entertainment, just to entertain you. Because in the end, cause reading the comments, and the person who won, it was like, oh, look, a porn star that's having sex with a porn star or corn stars, corn, whatever. Sorry, whatever, YouTube, whatever. I'm gonna say porn star, whatever. I'm gonna say porn star. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we won't get banned. But yeah, so I guess the person they chose is a adult film star, and he's gonna have sex with Adam's wife, essentially. So it's like it was rigged, but nonetheless, be that as it may, he's still allowing another dude. And I saw the advertisement where she was, I didn't hear it. I just saw it was on mute. I didn't feel like hearing it, but she's like in the middle of talking about something, and you see Adam walk up and the dude walk up shirtless, and she's like looking at both of them, and I think they're gonna do a threesome.
Oh, no.
It's just disgusting.
Eiffel Tower.
Now, mind you, Adam and her have done this. I think they have an OnlyFans where they've done this before. Adam has slept with other women, but doesn't matter. They're both degenerate. The fact that they're both allowing this to happen, they're not married. They're just, in my opinion, they're just roommates. They're just friends with benefits. It's not a marriage. You can't call her your wife and then allow her to get banged out by other dudes. I'm sorry, but that's not your wife. That is just your friend with benefits.
But hurt in multiple ways. Yeah, thank buds.
Yeah, yeah, literally, literally, butt hurt in multiple ways.
That butt's probably hurting.
Okay, so now speaking of gender roles, right?
Wait, real quick. Flame Rock said Adam offered his wife to Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate declined. I saw that. That's the dude.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was like months ago. Andrew talked about that on his podcast. Matter of fact, I think they were on the stream together, and Adam asked him on the stream, and he was like, "Nah."
He felt awkward. He politely tried to decline it because he said he felt the girl was in a weird spot.
Yeah. That's so bad, dude. Like,
Please
I don't know,
wife, bro. It'd be the biggest honor if you just fuck my wife.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Fuck, bro.
That's just nasty, dude. I know. I don't like that. I remember when I had a girlfriend and I found out that she cheated. Like that alone just hurt my soul. Like I don't even want to think about that. It's like at that point, we can't be together. No,
definitely not. Game over.
Okay, so here's a video This is of a gentleman. I don't know what this is from, but the caption reads, I just couldn't leave this part out. But this is of a guy who's telling his woman about, I guess this is his wife, and he explained to her about gender roles. And her response is very interesting to me. Now, people are saying this guy is whiny. I don't think I watched this earlier. I don't think he is, but just to hear her response is it's just pretty wild. But we'll talk about it. But here's that clip here.
Are roles that a man plays that are different than a woman plays, and roles that a woman plays are different than a man plays, and that's natural. That's inherent in us. And the whole thing, cooking 3 meals a day, that is one of the only keys to a man's heart. When's the last time you cooked a meal?
Oh, hold on a sec. Hold on. Bluetooth always does this. Hold on.
Bluetooth mode.
Hold up. I'm gonna play it
When's
back.
the last time you cooked a meal? She just looked like that.
That are different than a woman plays, and roles that a woman plays are different than a man plays, and that's natural. That's inherent in us. And
you hear it?
Cooking 3 meals a day.
Yes, sir.
That is one of the only keys to a man's heart. When's the last time you cooked a meal?
I can't go back to who I was when I was 20. I don't believe that that's a female chore to keep a husband happy. So I don't want to perpetuate that. And if I loved cooking and it was met with like, hey, I love that you love cooking. Like, this means a lot to me. Thanks. But you know, you don't have to do this all the time. Like, I can pitch in or whatever. If it was met with that, I think I would love cooking. But the way it's been presented to me is, if you don't do this, I love you less. I don't want that kind of relationship.
Dump that bitch.
Sorry, my Bluetooth's very sensitive. Hold up a sec. Okay. So you can see that the guy is basically that men have a role, women have a role. It's inherent in us, and you don't really cook. Like, when's the last time you cooked a meal? And she's like basically saying that it's not a woman's chore to cook for her husband. She don't want to perpetuate that. She used the word perpetuate, which is interesting. She want to perpetuate, and so the fact that she said, "When I do these things, I would like for you to be like, oh, I love when you cook. You don't gotta do it all the time. Let me pitch in." Right? She didn't want that kind of relationship where he will love her less, or it seems like to her, if she doesn't do it, he loves her less. I find it interesting to me. Again, this might look like I'm siding with the man mostly, but it's interesting how she has these demands. If I cook, I would like you to say, "Oh, I like when you cook. Oh, I like when you do this." It's like you have these demands as a wife, and then one can say, "Well, he has demands as a husband." But see, when we talk about the husband and the wife, and the husband provides, right? It's always an automatic for the husband to provide. It's automatically the moment you get married to a woman, you're automatically supposed to provide. It's an automatic thing. So when it's automatic for us, why can't we have the same? Why can't there be the same automatic for the women to cook her husband a meal, or cook her and the kids a meal? Now, I'm not saying the husband shouldn't pitch in at all, but what I'm saying is that the fact that, and mind you, he even mentions that he said, "When's the last time you cooked a meal?" Like, she hasn't done it. So for her to complain like this, it's like you haven't done it at all. According to him, you haven't really done anything. So what are you even complaining about if you haven't even done it? So you want him to walk up to you. Like, you ever watch those videos? I don't know if you've seen these videos before, but there's these videos where uh these parodies where they'll say, "When the wife shows me her new purse," or how my wife thinks I'm supposed to react when she gets a new purse, or when she gets her hair done, and it shows like her getting a new purse, and guys all like ecstatic, and he's like cheering for her. It's like they almost want us to act like that. Like, if she cooks, he's supposed to be like, "Oh, thank you," like, "Go, baby, go. Here, let me grab your hand and help you stir." Like, he's supposed to cheerlead her for doing wifely duties, and he's doing husband duties by taking care of the house. The fact that he's paying the bills, yeah, he is paying the bills. He's making sure you guys have a roof over your head, the lights are on, you got
Oh,
food.
is he?
Well, I mean, that's what I would imagine if he's. That's what I would imagine. If he's the one that's providing. Again, I don't know because it starts. The video starts at a certain point, so I don't know what was said before. But in this scenario, if he is providing, again, he's making sure a roof over her head, we got food to eat, the lights are on, all that stuff. Uh, Now, I will say this to bring a little nuance to it. If he is lacking husband duties, then yeah, that's on him and he should step up from that. But it sounded like coming from him that she's not doing the wifely duties. And that's why he asked her, when's the last time you cooked a meal? And to her, it's like, oh, it shouldn't be a chore. Well, it's definitely your duty.
Well, see, he didn't
It
even
should
make it out to be her duty. He was like trying to be like pussyfoot around it and be light, and because of that, he comes across as weak and whiny, maybe. But
yeah,
he's trying to be nice to her and not even like make it a duty. He's just kind of saying, "Look, it would be nice. I would appreciate that a lot. It would go a long way." And I would think that a woman would be grateful that a man's like forthcoming about the things that would make him happy, because I'm sure she has things that or checklists on her, that make her happy that he tries to check off. So if she cares
yeah.
about him at all, and it's not that difficult, I don't understand why she wouldn't accommodate.
Well, it's interesting how you say that the way he comes off, um, that he may come off weak, right? But do you think it's fair to say that, not in all cases, but you think it's fair to say that this is the reason why men can't be vulnerable? Because the moment that they are, it comes off weak. You know what I mean? Like if he's expressing the fact that, hey, men have a role, women have a role, a man has a role, women have a role. We have these roles that are inherent in us, and yet you don't want to do these roles. The fact that he's expressing that, does that make him weak for expressing that? Like, can he not be vulnerable? You know what I mean? So it's like when we try to express ourselves, it almost seems like we get criticized or shamed for it,
James,
and yet
yeah,
it's always the women who say, "Oh, just open up, just tell me what's going on, what's on your mind," and then we tell you, and it's like now you're resentful of us telling you how we feel.
making us regret it. Yeah, it's a double standard. It's two impossible things that are expected at the same time. They can't coexist. It's a very hard line to walk for men. Um, I think every woman could acknowledge that. Yeah, you don't want your man coming home from work like, I had the worst day at work. My boss was such a dick. So you don't want us to be that emotional, but you want us to be somewhat emotionally available. I think ladies are asking too much in that regard, and you should be more like charitable to us.
Yeah, Vanessa says women should be pleasing her man on a daily basis. Valentine is an overpriced pay for covering up all the issues in your relationship, but let me suck you off.
All right,
um, Glam Rock also says, I hear the most important thing for women is security, and for men it's respect and gratitude or something. Yeah, I mean, it's like the way that we're attracted to the opposite sex. Like men look at the physical, women look at the financial. There is a Pew study that they did back in, I believe, 2017, 2018, where it showed that that's how men's is physical attraction. For women, it's like the top thing, and then for women, it's like second. It's like honesty and then financial. But they look at they look at the financial, and then attraction is like below that. But for men, it's the other way around. So in the household, the husband and wife, the husband works, which is fine, providing. Women like that. We really do just want the respect. You know what I mean? Like we want to have that respect. 'Cause that's what makes us attractive to you is when you show us the respect, especially the fact that we're busting our butt to make sure that we have a home to live in. Otherwise, we'd be homeless, all that kind of stuff. Um, and when you don't have that, I mean, it just tears the marriage apart. If you can't have a woman to satisfy her man by just cooking a simple meal, especially again, he's out at work, he's out working, he's busting his butt. And I'm not saying that he should not give her gratitude as well. She's keeping the house clean, he's cooking the meals. Yeah, no, show your wife some love. I mean, you can do that as well. Show some love. I'm not saying he should be like, "Oh, you're cooking again? You're just the greatest." Like he shouldn't be all like that and on his knees, like, "I'm not worthy." Like he shouldn't be all like that. But walk up to her, grab her by the hip, give her a little kiss on the cheek.
Smack that ass as you pass it.
Uh,
Smelling good,
See, I
honey.
was trying to say that, but I wasn't trying to be too graphic.
Smelling good, you sexy thing.
So I know, right? It smells good. Smack.
Yeah, give her a little ass slap.
But
respect is the most important thing for men, I think, for sure. All else flows downhill from there. Appreciation, obviously, that's tied to respect. Like if you respect him and what he's doing, you'll appreciate it.
Yeah. See, even is it Livy? Is that how you say it? Livy?
Yeah. She's my friend from down under.
Oh, okay, right on. Yeah, she said I can't stand a feminine man, and honestly, I don't think any woman can. I don't think any woman can stand a man that's super emotional, or just emotional. Period. Like emotional to where he's not able to overcome it. If you have a man that constantly is saying yes, never pushing back on the things you say, just goes along to get along, I don't think that's the right man to be with, because if something were to ever happen, how's he going to protect you? If he can't even stand up to you, how can he stand up against somebody who tries to invade his home and hurt his family? I could be
They'll
wrong
shit
on
test
that,
you. The women will subconsciously, they don't even necessarily realize they're doing it, but they'll shit test you all the time doing inappropriate things or wrong things, and they're hoping, begging for you to correct that, or at least address it and not accept it, not tolerate it. But if you acquiesce to that, they're going to become so unattracted to you, and they're going to become bitter and resentful of you. They're going to hate your guts eventually.
I saw that Livy said that the topic of tonight was pretty interesting. Yeah, we just real quick before we end the show, we were talking about are conservative women liberal feminists. Now, I'm actually going to bring up this video just real quick. We talked about that because there was a calendar that came out. This guy named Seth Weathers has his own company called Ultra Right, and he came out with this Ultra Right beer to push back against Bud Light, because Bud Light was sponsoring Dylan Mulvaney, the man who pretends to be a woman, who actually got Women of the Year award, which is crazy because that's a dude. But that's where we are now in society. And so Seth Weathers is the CEO of Ultra Right Beer, and he decided to make this calendar where he would show real women who, these beautiful conservative women, but you have married women who go by the name of, one of them's named Ashley St. Clair. She's married and she's a mother, and she takes this seductive photo. I just don't think
half
that's
naked
very
bikini, right? It's like a swimsuit edition.
well. Yeah, no, it's not even a swimsuit. She's in like lingerie. She's in the bathtub in lingerie, and to me, I'm just like, I don't. That's not conservative. Like you're taking these seductive pictures. So the reason why I say are conservative women liberal feminists, because it seems like we call them Chino, which is a conservative in name only, like rhinos. We call them that because it's like they act conservative, but they do liberal things. You know what I mean? So you're doing these like liberal type pictures where they're very seductive. And that's something that like feminists will do. Like my body, my choice. I should be able to express myself how I want to. But you being a married woman and being a mother, the fact that you're taking pictures like that for other men's pleasure, I mean, that's like, who knows what men are going to do. You may have men who might buy that and do some nasty things.
They're going to. They're definitely going to.
So it's I don't think that's, and to me it does seem like there are women out there who claim to be conservative, but then get triggered if you say that feminism was bad, even the first wave. So I want to bring up Andrew Wilson and this debate he had with this woman about her being this tradcon. Hopefully I can find it.
While you do that, Vanessa said, A real conservative calendar would display these women fully clothed, cooking and cleaning while taking care of the kids. Send the right message. If not, we are just another Cardi B.
Yep. I agree.
Glam Rock says, bring back shaming. That would be on my campaign platforms. One of them. We're going to bring back thorough shaming.
I think, honestly, we should. We should bring back shaming for both
It needs
men.
to be.
Yeah, we should bring it back.
Livy said, disrespectful to her husband and children. Fair enough if it's progress photos for bodybuilding or transformation, but for the fun of it, not good.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Andrew Wilson. He has a YouTube channel called The Crucible, one of the fastest growing YouTube channels, which is pretty good. Good for him. God bless him. And I wish him and his wife more endeavors. I love Andrew's takes and his debates about women's rights, freedom. When he talks about rights, period, he says that rights don't exist, which is interesting to me. I haven't heard that angle before. So let's check something real quick. Let me get out that. Okay. So here's Andrew Wilson. It says Andrew Wilson exposes bimbo as fake conservative on whatever podcast. But about 5 minutes long, 5+ minutes long. So here's that clip here.
I'm just curious on first wave feminism as a grounding foundation. Why would you say that was good?
I think because it established us as human beings worthy of having some rights, like voting.
So you think that voting rights were good?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but why? How come women don't want them?
Women don't want voting
How
rights?
come they didn't want them?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
You have to ask them.
almost no women wanted to vote.
And I wasn't aware that they didn't want that. I certainly want voting rights.
Why?
Because I'm a human being.
Yeah, so well, let me ask you this. Women get the right to vote because you want to expand rights.
Sure.
How come women, when they vote, though, usually vote for more security in the state rather than voting to expand rights? So it's been my experience that usually nobody wants to vote themselves a right to do a good thing. They always want to vote themselves a right for some form of degeneracy. I've never actually seen someone say, I want to be more free for more responsibility. I want to be more free so that I have more duty in society.
Well, then you haven't met me because that's
yeah.
not
So
how
what
I
would
vote.
you? So what do you want to vote for? What do you want the vote for exactly? What do you think?
Why do
women
you
should
want to
have
vote?
Well, for me, I'm a patriarchist, right? So
You don't think
from
women
the
should have any
grounding
opinions?
foundation, you say you're a Christian,
Sure.
right?
yeah.
Okay, so do you think in society, as a Christian, in a Christian society, why do you think that your founders didn't give women the right to vote?
I never said anything about a Christian society.
Yeah, but why do you think the founders didn't give women the right to vote?
Yeah, bitch. But
No, and I don't care.
You don't care?
No, I
What
don't.
the
Probably
foundation
because they were based in religion, right? But I believe in separation of church and
Right,
state.
so you're standing
to be clear.
more and more like a progressive and not a conservative to me.
Uh,
So if
Fine,
we
you
move
can
it,
think
so we
that.
move into first wave feminism. So now you want a separation between church and state as well.
Where
In
does
fact,
it say?
Can you tell me, other than like some basic, I don't like abortion, what do you actually disagree with progressive women on?
A lot of things.
Like,
I believe that. Like, what do you mean? Like feminism?
just give me anything besides just I don't like abortion, right? So what I've noticed this trend of
Are you
women,
trying to ask me if I
Well, so I'll
economically
tell
am
you,
conservative?
I've noticed
Like,
this trend of women who are always like, look, I'm a trad girl, right? Ooh, patriarchy's based, haha, right? I hear this all the time. The question, though, for me always becomes this delineation when they're like, third and fourth wave feminism has gone too far. Okay, what about first wave feminism? Oh, well, all the delineation which led to third and fourth wave feminism, I love all that, just not what it turned into.
To clarify, I'm a libertarian-leaning conservative.
Libertarian leaning.
So funny.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
What are libertarians trying to conserve?
What do you mean?
What are they trying to conserve?
So you're a conservative because you don't believe in
Well,
separation.
what do you think conservative means?
Conservatism is rooted in preserving the traditions that
Sure,
were
and you
often-
can
hold on,
believe in
Stop.
traditions.
Hold on for a second. conservatism is rooted in preserving the traditions and ideals that this nation was founded upon, which were almost entirely Christian, and libertarianism is oftentimes
Sure,
not
but
aligned
there's
with
also
that.
a reason why they didn't
So it's kind of a
specifically
contradiction of
state.
terms.
No, it's not, because you can still have those values and not have them based 100% saying that it's because the Bible said this. It says nowhere in the Constitution because the Bible said
Well,
that.
then what are you making a foundation of?
Well, you can still believe in those values.
Yeah, no, for conservation.
You can still 100%. To be fair, I am a Christian, right?
Mhm.
I believe in
No, she's not.
Christianity. But when it comes to my political views, I don't vote based off of only my Christianity. And I also don't believe that we should
hold on.
enforce those.
Go ahead, Savannah.
So basically what
Into
you're
the mic,
saying
please.
is people that serve roughly 50% of the population should have a say in
Let's
the
not
government
linger
they
too
live
long
under.
on this
Okay.
topic, please. But
yes.
And why is that?
Well, because
I've seen one.
the,
I just have a
the-
small question after.
because the entirety of women's voting inside of the United States has been a complete unmitigated disaster. Unmitigated disaster, which has led us to
Nice.
progressive policies, societal decay, a society which cannot reproduce itself,
savaging her.
literally, can't even reproduce
She
itself.
knows it.
It's led to every
She
form
was
of social
pissed.
degeneracy you currently see inside of society has been due 100% to women voting. Let me give you the counter.
I'm not sure.
If it was
I-
just men who
I may
voted.
have to.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't.
sorry.
I haven't
Anyways.
made my decision on the whole 19th Amendment.
Oh, come on,
if
dog.
you want me to
Not even
expand,
tonight.
I'll
I
expand.
know.
If
I
it was
don't
just men,
actually.
if it was just men who were voting,
I'm not
for-
sure I can co-sign with it.
Yeah,
Yes,
if it
you
was just
should.
men who were
No.
voting, for instance, there would not be LGBTQ marriage, which was allowed for. That's right off the gate.
Here,
Okay.
let's here.
Do you,
I-
We're just gonna
I do
anger
want to
that
ask
side
you a
more.
question too. Do you also believe Black people shouldn't have had the right to vote?
Here we go.
Well,
Yeah,
when you
not
talk
black
about voting,
women.
I don't believe in suffrage at all. I don't think voting's good. I don't
Are you
believe
a
that rights
monarchist?
are true.
Are you a
Why do you
monarchist?
think should vote?
What's your
Wait,
ideal
no,
political
no.
system?
I would say monarchy would be better than anything, at least right now. But
Wait.
when you're talking about rights, you need to understand that there's no such thing as rights. It's made up. Well, you can't taste it, you can't touch it, you can't smell it, you can't see it. Point to a right. They don't exist absent your mind. These are social constructions which we make up, which have the application of force. So there are no rights. That's all made up nonsense that people have been kind of force-fed into believing. But first wave feminism starts with this kind of presupposition that there are some, and there aren't.
That's crazy. I've been curious to kind of learn more about that when he said that rights don't exist. I always thought that rights were given to us by God, but if you look at the way things are going now, we have no rights. They're literally taken away. I mean, my friend just sent me a text earlier where there's an opinion piece from Washington Post that said to combat anti-Semitism, we must ban free speech. So think about that. And people who talk about this stuff, these progressives, these liberals, they end up pushing legislation where Congress now equates anti-Zionism to anti-Semitism. So it's like
Right.
now you can't criticize the foreign nation. I mean, that's a whole different conversation. But I get what Andrew's saying because it seems like our rights are being infringed upon, especially our First Amendment. The fact that Republicans pass speech laws against the American people. Like, do we really have rights? Like, we often talk about oppression. Oh, Black people are oppressed because the white man. No. The American people are oppressed because the government. We are oppressed as a nation. Everybody is oppressed. Male, female, black, white, it doesn't matter. We are oppressed because they're passing laws against us where we can't criticize a foreign nation. If we say certain things about certain people, there's penalization for it. Look at Michigan. They passed a hate crime bill where if you maliciously misgender somebody, there's penalization. You can get penalized. So we really don't have rights. I mean, I'm not saying I 100% agree because I don't fully understand that argument. So I don't want to act like I like Andrew's take on it, but I can't pretend like I know it. But nonetheless, I understand where he's coming from because look at what's happened to our rights alone. The fact that they lock up Julian Assange, the fact that they lock up January 6ers when we were expressing our right to free speech. Do we really have rights or are they all just made up?
Rights only exist to the extent you're willing to fight for them.
Yeah.
And that entails dying, fighting to the death for them. How much are you willing to stand up for your rights to let these tyrants who otherwise are going to take your rights away from you know that I'm not to be messed with like that? We're not the ones. Right now we have none of that in us, and they know it.
Yeah, that's why when Andrew, when he talks to that conservative, fake conservative, uh, he asks her like, what rights is she fighting for? Like, what rights is she actually voting for? Because women in America do overwhelmingly vote Democrat. And when they vote Democrat, they tend to vote policies that go against the American people. They vote for open borders, they vote for abortion, they want to do climate change agenda that just gets more taxes out of us. They don't vote for things to make us free. They vote for things to give us more
Dependence.
government tyranny.
They vote for
Yeah.
dependence rather than independence.
Yeah. Let me read some last few comments. K Train says the Constitution is founded on biblical principles. She's a true blonde, at least. I agree. Vanessa says women have babies and raise them. It's the most fulfillment you would ever have. Housewife rules. I know. You can't say that, otherwise they're going to pass legislation against you. Glamrock says she can't be this dense. Yeah, because what the point that Andrew's making is that you have women who will act like a trad con and be like, "Oh, I love patriarchy. I'm against abortion." But then when you challenge them on feminism, now you start to see that all that is just an act, just to I mean, kind of be a grifter in a way. Because that chick that you guys saw was talking with all that makeup on, she's the one that has the job as a waitress where she wears a bikini and serves people coffee. It's like some job she has. I forget where it's at, but some job she has where she's in the bikini serving coffee. So she's pretty much doing what strippers do. She's just not dancing.
Conservative hoe, classy hoe.
So, Glamrock says to be able to serve my husband and live in a penthouse and just dress my children and feed them a true dream would be nice. But it's interesting how you said penthouse. Goes to show that women care about money. I'm just, just kidding. Ruel says free speech was and anti-Semitism have no relation. Um, the thing is that they're passing speech laws against the Americans. The Republicans are doing this. Ron DeSantis flew to Israel a couple of years back, flew to Israel to go pass a speech law against the American people. In Florida, I keep forgetting her name. It's like Lori something, but the senator of Florida expanded the anti-Semitism laws where rather than just be on college campuses, they now expanded it all throughout Florida where you cannot criticize a foreign nation, otherwise you get penalized. They in Congress just passed a legislation where they're equating anti-Semitism to anti-Zionism to anti-Semitism. They're equating that as one, so you can't criticize Zionists, otherwise you'll get penalized for it.
Otherwise, you're an anti-Semite, even if you're a Semite Jew doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So they have it on college campuses. Even on college campuses, they're combating anti-Semitism, which is funny because you have people that will be on college campuses, and like you have like these black organizations that will say, we want to not have white folks here one day. They can talk about white people all they want, and no one's going to pass anti-white laws. Then they call it racist. But you pass anti-Semitism laws, and that's okay. And if you go against that, you're anti-Semitic, which is pretty crazy. So they are passing speech laws. Trump did the same thing with the anti-Semite bill back in 2019. The point I'm making is that we have these so-called rights, but yet they're constantly being infringed upon to where we can't even criticize. I mean, look, they locked up Julian Assange, a journalist who exposed, uh, basically just told the truth, exposed a bunch of stuff happening with corrupt governments and politicians, and got locked up for it. January 6ers expressed their First Amendment right to protest and peacefully assemble and got locked up for it. So
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate. Same thing.
Kanye West.
Everybody. Well, Kanye West not locked up, but he definitely got banned off social on Twitter.
He became a millionaire instead of the first black billionaire overnight. He lost that status overnight.
Mm-hmm. True. Glamrock says off topic, but whites face more police brutality than black. By the way, they do actually. I know. Don't say that, right? But they do though. I mean, according to the stats, it does show that. Now, just on that real quick, is there things that's happening to black people that's injustice? Absolutely. But the stats do show that whites do face more police brutality, and the fact that I guess it's been said, I don't know how true this is still today, but it's been said that police officers often hesitate to actually shoot a black person because they know the repercussions that comes with it, even if the black dude is in the wrong, which is pretty crazy. Um, Couple more comments, and then we'll in the stream. Women vote with emotions. Not all us women vote with logic. Sorry, I can't speak for the majority. I agree. That's why women overwhelmingly vote Democrat because they're voting with their emotions, and when they do that, they vote for things that go against the American people. They vote for more tyranny, whereas the men tend to vote for more freedoms.
And look, women make up like 80% of the consumer marketplace. When you want to sell something, you appeal to selling to women because they buy most. They're the ones that buy. They'll buy most
that's all
anything.
done
You
by
can sell
men.
them anything.
Yeah, that's all done by men. Men built the infrastructures in order for them to have the products.
Yeah, and then they sell them all kinds of bullshit all day long that their beta husbands support.
Yeah, like wearing lingerie for calendars.
Yeah, their husband buys for them to go fucking pose for naked. Everybody else. But I bet. When's the last time she fucked her husband? Probably been a minute.
I mean, that's not my business, but hey.
If I had to put money on it, I'm gonna guess he's been an unhappy husband for some time.
Just like conservative gay men attack liberal gay men, what the heck? Y'all all gay. I know, it's pretty crazy. K-Train says, no brains, but uses their assets to make a living. I'm going to go out on a limb and say she's probably a single mom as well. Interesting. Matter of fact, it's funny because I don't know if they pulled up her her Instagram. I don't know if they did. Did they? I don't think they did, but she does not have conservative. And funny that she said libertarian because if you watch the episode, she never said anything about being libertarian until that conversation happened. So she moved the goalposts. Like she claimed to be like conservative, but now, oh well, I'm a libertarian conservative. It's like no, you're not. You're just trying to move the goalposts. And even just saying that made you look bad because you're basically saying that you are conservative, but now you're a libertarian to like have more relaxations on certain things in society. So you didn't make yourself look good by saying libertarian.
Yeah, she started moving, twitching. I almost felt bad for the dumb bitch. Like he took her to task. It was great to watch.
Larry says most conservative women use men as meal tickets. Interesting. Definitely
so they're China's. You would agree then, Larry, that they're conservative in name only, more or less.
Yep, Chinos. Libby says, unfortunately, it came from Chinos. Chinos. Unfortunately, in Australia, we have too many beta men. That's what I hear nowadays, especially what happened in 2020 when a lot of the men caved in to the tyranny, which is pretty crazy. Glamrock says, great show today, guys. We appreciate you. Wish I can like 1,000 times. I appreciate that. Thank you all. Again, if you haven't hit that like button yet, please hit that like button. It definitely does help out. And also, too, when the show is over, put your comments down below because we definitely read comments and it helps out the algorithm. So definitely leave your comment below what you guys think about tonight's episode. If you guys like anything that you did see, you're more than welcome to crop what you like and post that on your Insta stories, your Twitter accounts, your Facebook. Just make sure you tag our names and we'll definitely repost it on our platform. So we
we'll share
appreciate
it far and
that.
wide.
Last couple comments. Larry says alpha men go to college and can survive in 2023. I don't know. I'm not saying there are alpha men in college, but a lot of these men going to college are turning out real beta. Conservative men are worried their low-paying jobs will be stolen by illegals. That is a real concern because there's been a lot of illegal aliens coming into this country, and they can definitely take over the jobs because it's easy. And plus, it's easy to get them to vote. Hey, we'll give you free stuff. The Americans will pay for you, the illegal, which is pretty crazy. They take our money, pay for the illegals, so that the illegal can vote Democrat with no identification, and that's how they keep thriving. But crazy because a lot of times illegal aliens end up going to do the farms. So it's like it is crazy.
And they're giving that all to them while neglecting our troops who have fought for our rights in this country to such an extent that they're ending their lives at more than 15 a day.
Yeah. I mean, we have less I don't want to say less. I think we don't have as many American farmers because we have more illegals working the farms than we do American people working the farms. So
Bill Gates' bitch ass owns more farmland in this country than anybody else. Second most
Yeah.
is China. Speaking
Yeah,
of which,
which is why I was it was good news to hear that even though this was a woman who did this, Sarah Huckabee Sanders banned, I believe, China from buying land in Arkansas. So it's pretty cool. I was like,
that is a
that's
good.
good.
You have to. I mean, you can't let that happen.
Yeah. So yeah, that is the show. We appreciate you guys all for watching. For watching. K Train said, "I'm still out here." Yeah. Oh, real quick, I want to give a shout out to K Train. K Train is a farmer, real man doing real work, and I always do this for K Train every single time. I always got to give my trump for K Train. We love our farmers. We love K Train. He does the farm. He gets the food to the American people. He feeds us well, puts food in our bellies, on our plates, with our families. K Train, we love you. We appreciate
Take care of him, ladies.
Yeah, K Train is the real farmer. Shout out to him. I met K Train too in person back in 2022. Great guy, great dude. We even hung out when we went from I forget where we was at to where we went to, but that was a great hangout too, man. It was so fun.
He's a day one for us at Age of Men, bro.
Yeah, Vanessa, I did not mean to say. Wait, so how do you know I was watching? Oh yeah, I gotta say watching. I did not mean to say watching, I meant to say watching. So
he black.
Now all of us can go watch the Godzilla movie, Julius. Oh my god, whatever. Best movie in 2023. So, anyways, appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Again, make sure you guys subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Do comment below what you guys think about tonight's episode. Comments definitely do help out, especially when other people go to our page. They see there's engagement. They see we have a real thing going. So we appreciate all of that. You guys want to follow us again? Let us know what you guys think about this overlay we have here, where we have the Age of Men, our Instagram here, and down below we have our individual links and our Cash App. If you want to donate, Cash Apps are down below. You want to follow us on all other social media platforms. Links are right here on screen and they're down below as well. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can definitely email us on Instagram.com/Age of Men podcast. Any questions, any topics you guys want to throw our way, you can always DM us at Age of Men podcast on Instagram or to each of us individually, or you can always email us. The links are down below. So we appreciate you guys. God bless you guys. We'll see you guys next week. And yeah. So take care. Have a good one, and we'll catch you guys. God bless, guys. See ya.
Robot blowjob 8 a.m.